Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roller Coaster History Podcast. You are listening to Airtime Traveler. My name is Nathan Grace, and this week I'm joined by a whole panel of guests for our Disney World trip report. So, as always, I'm joined by my wife and lovely co-host.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Haley Grace.
And my sister, Kirsi Goad, who has been on the podcast a couple times.
Hi.
And for the first time, my mom, Jenny Grace, is here joining us on the podcast.
Hello.
And we're here to do another trip report as promised. We've got so many more to do, but we figured we'd at least
Did we even do a Kings Island one?
We did Kings Island.
Kings Dominion we didn't do.
No, we did Kings Dominion and Kings Island. It's Hershey Park and Carowinds and Cedar Point and Kennywood. Oh, so far behind.
I feel like we'll go back to those sooner than the other ones. So.
Yeah. I don't know. We need to catch up. At the very least, we need to do the Cedar Point one because that was like our big trip this year other than Disney. So if this is your first time listening to the podcast, be sure to go and check out our other episodes. Typically, we're here talking about the history of roller coasters. And so we're in the middle of seasons right now. We just finished season 1 at the end of December, but season 2 will be starting in April. So be sure and go and check back, listen to our previous 19 episodes. There's also a few other trip reports from Kings Dominion and Kings Island, and some other episodes of Coaster Conversations where we just talk about other things going on with the coaster industry. So with that, I don't think I have anything else. If anybody has any news to talk about.
Well, they did improvement on Tron. We saw lots of improvement there.
Did you see the locker system that they announced for Tron?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a locker system, which is like the first major attraction at Disney World that has lockers. You unlock it with your Magic Band, actually, which is pretty cool. So they look really good. They look on theme. They're all
That's nice.
Decked out to look like Tron. But they also have a little compartment on the train for you to put your phone in and close it. So that way you can still have your phone in line, but you can put all your big stuff in the lockers, which...
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
I like you unlock it with your Magic Band, so that way you don't have to... So, what was the code we put in? So.
I haven't thought about how that seat wouldn't work.
Yeah, that style of train is not conducive to having
your
baggage
stuff
with
on there,
you. Yes.
So I hadn't thought about what they would do for that, but that's cool that they did that.
Yep. So they announced that, I think yesterday, day before, something like that. So.
Yeah.
And then they put the new sign up in the front. People keep complaining that it has an Enterprise logo on it, and I'm like. So many other rides have sponsorships. I don't know why people are complaining about this. I know. It's like Space Mountains has sponsorship. Test Track's always had one.
Mm-hmm.
Spaceship Earth has always had one. I'm trying to think. Living with the Land has had them. So it's a Disney thing.
It is a Disney thing.
It's not as bad as Six Flags where they put the sponsorship on the train.
Yeah.
There was a ride at, I don't remember which park it was, but it was like one of those spinning coasters where it's just one car, and the ride was sponsored by Twix, and so it was literally like left Twix and right Twix. That was the car. That was the design of the car and it wasn't even themed to Twix. It was like such and such sponsored by Twix. And then it had Twix cars on it. I was like that's a pretty aggressive sponsorship.
I feel like if your sponsor is going to make you do that, you should just theme your ride around that. Because
I know, right?
Maybe it won't be as cool of a theme, but at least it'll look good.
Oh, maybe it was maybe it was called... Oh, no. So the roller coaster wasn't, but they also had this, which was like one of those spinning, like... big rides where like the seat spins, and it was called Twix Twister. It had like this big old left Twix, right Twix on the bottom.
I just feel like that doesn't make sense. Why Twix?
There's the roller coaster. That's like looking at the back of the roller coaster.
So funny. It's all done by Hershey. I don't know.
Well, Twix isn't Hershey, that's why. But
it isn't.
No, Twix isn't Hershey. No.
It's in Mars.
Yeah, Twix is Mars.
So. I was like, oh gosh, there goes my Pennsylvania knowledge.
Well, you
Gone.
can't have Twix. That's your excuse.
Oh.
Because of your allergies, you can't have Twix.
I
That's
can't
your
have anything
excuse.
Hershey.
It's true. Can you have anything?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. I'm sure they've got to have a fruity candy you can have. I know you can.
Do they own Jolly Rancher?
They do.
You can
That's
have.
the
Okay,
only
so you
one.
can have Jolly Ranchers.
Because
That's what
I knew
was
that because the Jolly Rancher ride.
Oh yeah, the Jolly Rancher.
Oh,
Is
right.
Blech.
I didn't even go on it because it made me sick.
Basically looking at it.
Stupid.
Okay, well, let's jump in. So we're typically, like we've done in the past with these trip reports, this one's pretty casual. We're not, each of us are drinking sodas and, whatever. So we're not going to be as strict and, we do have an outline we're going to follow, but, it won't be it's a little more casual than our usual episodes. But the one thing that will be different this time, we're not going to go over our whole trip, like everything that we did, because that would just take way too long.
Yeah, that would be a couple episodes.
Yeah, so, but we are going to talk about just a couple of our thoughts, a couple of things that we've enjoyed on our trips and things we maybe didn't enjoy, and then we'll talk about rides towards the end. So, all right. Makes sense?
Yep.
We're all good?
I'm good.
Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to talk about was food. So the question I posed to each of you was what your favorite meal or snack was that you had while on the trip. Bread. So, why don't you start, Haley?
Thank you for being so considerate.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Bread.
I think you need to explain more.
Elaborate.
So I think I mentioned my food allergies on here before. But Disney's really, really awesome with accommodating for food allergies. They've got it nailed down like quite a bit. In fact, I feel like other parks should take notes on things that they do. But one of the things that they provide at a lot of restaurants is a bread roll that is pretty much top 8 allergy friendly roll, and so they're really good, and anyways, they're just sold to Disney because I've tried to find them and I can't find them.
They sell like a mix, don't they?
They
Is that
sell
what it is?
something similar, but they don't sell the actual roll, and so. But they're delicious and they're wonderful. So I got them at pretty much every meal that offered them, and then
Hoarded
them. Yeah. I basically hid them in my
Put them in the
bag.
diaper bag, yeah.
Took them for breakfast the next morning
And had them for dessert.
oh, totally. Not even.
There were some
Yeah,
restaurants
there
where
were
she was
a
like,
couple times.
I don't want a
I don't want
dessert,
dessert.
but...
Can I have more rolls?
It's because they only had that stupid raspberry sorbet
Oh,
every single
yeah.
time.
That was there you go. There's
The
my
first-
least.
The first time.
The first time she was like, "Oh, that sounds good," but then when it was at every meal,
Then it was like,
got
oh, well, we
old
don't
really
have any.
fast.
Do you want raspberry sorbet?
No.
Oh.
Give me the bread. Oh man, it was just, I think that was hard for me. It was like, that was the only thing I complained about for someone with food allergies. Is I wish they would have broadened their desserts, because I felt like, there was tons and tons of desserts for everyone else, and
Then there was raspberry sorbet.
so, but yeah, I'm trying to think what else I liked from an allergy-friendly standpoint.
Oh, Hannah had that donut.
That was good.
Oh,
that
that's
was
true.
Good.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's
So it was like a cake donut that was like sprinkled with like sugars and brown sugar, and then on top of it,
It was like a dairy-free ice cream,
yeah,
wasn't it?
it was
Yeah.
like a cinnamon tasting dairy-free ice cream that they put on top of it. Anyways, it
super
was
good,
very,
yeah.
very good. I will admit that. That was a pretty good dessert. So I feel like that was the only place that didn't offer
Raspberry
freaking
sorbet.
bread.
I feel like there was another. Well, I mean, because Beaches made you something. It wasn't like as good as you've had at Beaches before.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that offered you something unique. I think that might be.
I
missing
think those
too.
were the
I
only
think
two
so.
that were
Yeah.
unique to me. So, but yeah, there's
The bread.
The bread.
Bread.
Freaking bread. I love the bread. Jenny, you should bring me some bread for the next trip.
Just stuff it in your luggage.
I'm not gluten-free, but my
But-
daughter knows.
I would seriously pay you to bring that bread back.
They're like,
Uh,
you just eat bread?
This is for my daughter-in-law.
Can I have regular bread
That's the
and
only
gluten-free
That's
bread?
the only souvenir I want. Is the bread. That's all I
Oh my
want.
god.
That would be really funny. So
That would be so confusing to have one person order gluten-free and regular bread in a single
just
sitting.
sitting there eating one and stuffing
Just
the
taste
gluten-free in your bag. Like, do you have
Just make sure that
gluten-free
Jamie
days?
records you doing this, so that way I can.
Dad will be the one asking for it. Let's be real.
Dad,
Yeah.
yeah, your dad would barely even. He wouldn't even hide it. He'd
He'd
just
just
be
be like,
like,
"Oh, thanks." So,
Perfect.
can I get some gluten-free bread? Thank you. He wouldn't
Thank you.
explain or anything.
No. Alright.
nope.
Is that you?
That's me.
That's you.
That's
Alright,
me.
Mom.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal
Or
or
snack.
snack. Or snack.
Or snack?
Yeah,
It's hard to remember them all.
yeah, it's true.
There's so much good food.
There were so many. I had to like scroll through a list of restaurants. Like, oh yeah, we did eat there. Like,
I honestly would say I have favorites from each restaurant. Like, we went to Garden Grill and their spoon bread was really yummy.
mm.
And then,
I don't think I've ever been to Garden Grill.
At least once.
Ohana, the noodles.
Mm.
I love
The
their
dessert
noodles. And then,
at
of course,
Ohana.
the bread pudding
So
is
good.
amazing. And then Liberty Tree.
You could drink that caramel
The-
sauce at Ohana.
Ooey,
So
it
good.
is so good. And then ooey gooey toffee cake at Liberty Tree. So I don't know if I could pick a whole meal. That was probably Liberty Tree is my favorite.
That's how your favorite
whole
overall,
meal.
yeah.
That's
But-
me too, but I have other things.
Obviously, everything I mentioned was sweet, so, so I'm big on the desserts.
Yeah.
I feel like for savory though, there was a lot of things like around the world at Epcot that I loved.
So yeah, so I'll just touch on that since you brought it up because I had like a couple honorable mentions and one of mine was just World Showcase, like going around and taste testing stuff because there was so much good stuff.
I forgot about the
Oh,
bread
in
and dips.
Morocco.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that stuff was so
We
good.
didn't get to do it, so.
Oh, that's so sad.
We never got back there, so.
Have you? Because if you guys done it during that time of year?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've done it before. You just
And
get to do
sometimes
this.
they're the same food, so.
Well, next time if they have the, it's like I
It's
don't
like
remember what
naan
the, it's
type
like
bread?
yeah, it wasn't called that, but it's
Yeah.
basically like naan. But then they had like 3 dips that came with it, and all
They were
3 of
so
them were
good.
so
And
amazing.
they didn't give us nearly enough bread for how much dip we got, though. That was our only complaint.
Yeah,
But I was
it was
this
like a
close
leftover.
to going and getting more bread.
Yeah,
Because it was so good.
we were halfway through World Showcase, and we were still
Haley
like,
didn't have any rolls.
do we want to get more?
The bread was like the best part almost. The dips were
Uh-huh.
really
I just
good.
thought
but the
maybe
bread
you
was-
had them in your backpack
From
a previous
earlier.
meal or
Yeah.
something.
She
I
might.
mean, I might.
I don't know if she would have shared
I didn't
from
even
that.
think
She would have shared.
So, but the enchilada that you had early, no, it wasn't enchilada.
The
It was a
tamale.
tamale. Yes, thank you.
That's what it was.
And that was
That was
allergy
good.
friendly
Yeah.
and super
was-
good.
it
I
was
was
vegan,
it was
too.
vegan.
Yeah, it
I
was-
was really
It
impressed.
was
so.
very,
It
very
had
good.
like vegan chorizo, and I
It
was
was
really
super
impressed. It was so good.
And then I think my favorite thing I had though was the sushi
That
in
was really
Japan. It was
Mm.
really good. It was really good. So
What kind of sushi was it?
it was crab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked it if it wasn't. So
it
it was really good.
was
I
really
liked
good.
it.
So, but then my last mention for World Showcase was they brought back the cronut, and I was so happy. That was like my favorite thing to get at Epcot every time we went, and then they got rid of it.
Mhm.
But then they
It was
had
so
it
much your
for
favorite that we overnighted you
yes.
some.
When I was on my mission trip, they would overnight me cronuts from Disney World.
Most
Oh.
expensive snack
Ever. So good.
Worth it.
And you wouldn't share it with anybody.
Nope. None of my mission companions, nothing. I was like, nope, this is all mine. This is all mine. I may have given them, I probably didn't give them a bite.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Depends on who.
You did.
That is true. Depends who I was with at the time.
Those have always been your favorite.
All right. What you got?
Okay, so Liberty Tree was my favorite meal
That's
that
fair
I
overall.
thought
Yeah.
of. The Ronto wraps in oh my gosh, Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, okay.
That's just at there's the Ronto roasters or whatever, but then you can get them at Launch Bay 7, so what is it called? Docking Bay 7. Close enough. Docking Bay 7. You can get them there too, and they were really good. They were a little bit the ingredients were a little weird and we were hesitant, but we were like, we'll just try it, and it was really good. So we really liked that. And then Oka's Cantina, not just for the ambiance, but that was a huge part of it because it was such a cool, and it was just such a cool atmosphere, and we really liked that. But the food, as weird as it was super good. We basically got a charcuterie board, and we didn't know what most of the stuff on it was until we tried it. So we just had to try things and see what it was.
See if it was any
so
good.
you had to be a little bit brave to be willing to try it because a lot of it was not recognizable as what it was But it was really good.
It's kind of dark in there too.
Yeah,
so you can't see
true. That's true.
But it was super good. I mean, we cleaned that plate pretty much, and there was some weird stuff on it. There was this. It tasted like pepperoni, but it was dried jerky. So it was
pepperoni jerky.
It was quite dry, but it tasted super good, and there was grilled green onions on there, super random stuff, but really good. So those were my things. The Ronto wraps and the Oka's Cantina was definitely worth it. The drinks were fine.
Yes.
Since we don't drink alcohol, we were just looking at it was the kids menu, not really, but we had some people. We had some people at our table oh, what drinks did you get? And we flipped their menu over we got these ones, and they immediately flipped their menu back over. They're we're not interested. We're sorry.
We're not interested in water.
Berry fizz.
That's literally what mine was.
We got the apple juice.
It was blueberry, and that describes mine really well.
That's funny.
It was good, but yeah, we got some weird looks when we were ordering off of the non-alcoholic menu because we were in a bar without children. So, but it was good.
So I think I had a hard time because Ohana is really, really good. And it's only the second time we've been just because of how expensive it is. But the one that actually caught me off guard that I really, really liked and I think I'm going to pick as my favorite was Liberty Tree. Because in the past when we went to Liberty Tree, I usually just got a burger, which was good. That was back when you actually ordered something.
Yeah, which is not what they do.
And so this was the first time I had been since they started doing family style. And some of the stuff that was on the plate was stuff I hadn't tried before just because, I don't know, I ordered a burger or whatever other thing. And I was like, I can't believe I haven't had this stuff this whole time because it was so good. So, because I'm typically not a big Thanksgiving dinner person.
Which is basically what
I'll get a little bit of turkey and a little bit of ham, but I'm really more with the rolls and the pies and stuff on Thanksgiving. So, but I mean, everything on that plate was just super good. So, and then ooey gooey. You can't go wrong with the ooey gooey toffee cake. So, I know you can't have it. The raspberry sorbet.
That was where she actually had the raspberry sorbet. It wasn't oldie.
That was the first time they offered it to you, I think.
So she was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine," and was kind of excited.
I know.
Little did you know.
That it was the first of many to come.
I
We
will
might
say
even try that.
That's true. That's true.
Ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I will say the meal though, they did a very, very good
They
job with my meal.
They did.
were
They did,
able
like,
to,
making sure everything was separate so that...
Yeah. So I had, like, my own Thanksgiving, and they brought me however
Well,
much I wanted.
Was that the first place you had rolls? Or
No,
was Mama Mill
it was
Rose?
Mama Mill.
Okay.
That's right. But then they
Mama
brought
Rose.
it again at Liberty Tree, and I think that was the first time you just asked, like, can I have more rolls?
Yeah.
And they're like, you can have more.
Yeah, as many as you want. I'm like, bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Here, take my purse back.
Just
fill it up.
Just
And
fill
then
this
bring
in the
it
bag
back.
and bring it.
Next.
Just bring a Walmart bag.
Go get the stroller.
Just throw it all the bottom of the stroller.
Maybe you'll do that. I'll just be like, oh, I need to change.
People like pull us over like, hey, they think we're selling the bread or something. We got so
No,
much.
it's mine.
I'm not selling it.
It's funny.
I wish I could find it though. Like I found the people that like sell to Disney.
Call
Just
them.
Be like, I'm your number one fan. You need to give it.
I pay so much money.
That's what I want for my birthday. A bread from Disney World.
Good luck with that.
Oh. That's what I'll do. Maybe I'll post it on my allergy friendly page and be like,
Honestly, you might see if someone has figured out where to get it.
That's true.
I mean, there's
Copycat
so
recipe.
that too.
That'd be-
I looked,
Better.
I tried, I already posted.
You already posted it.
I already did, and they were like, yeah, they don't sell the exact thing, they just sell the mix. I'm like, stupid. So
Well, I mean, you
can
should
make your
try
own.
the mix and just see what
You
you
can make
think.
your own, maybe.
we'll see.
The mix may be like you know when you go like you go to Walmart and they have the Red Lobster cheddar biscuit mix or whatever. It's not as good as it is at the restaurant, but it's still good. That might be the same thing you're dealing with. So
Fresh baked bread.
that's true.
Or I can fake an allergy when
No, I'm getting behind the point, and maybe I'll just like have someone that like is there be like, take some and ship. So
Oh, jeez.
pathetic. I'm so pathetic.
There's got to be another place that has bread that good.
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
True, so true. I feel like maybe I don't know. Maybe the cruise that we go on this year will have some good stuff. I hope
I wonder
so.
what Disney cruises would have
Ooh,
as far as what you can have.
that'd be interesting to find out.
That's probably
then I could
more
just pull it
expensive
right
than...
off the buffet.
Don't give her any ideas.
I'll bring an empty suitcase.
We need to find this out before you go.
Oh, dear.
This episode is called
Facebook, here I
Rolls.
Oh dear. Can you at least wait till after the podcast to figure this out?
No, she can't.
Well, I'm about to ask you another question.
Okay.
All right. So I think that pretty much covers our experience with food on the trip.
Bread.
Anything
and
else?
desserts.
Just bread and desserts and Liberty Tree. That's pretty much our experience with food. A little bit of World Showcase
A
sprinkled
little bit
in
of Star
there.
Wars.
A little bit of Star Wars. All right. So the next question I asked you guys was things from this trip that were different from previous trips that you either liked or disliked. So maybe changes that they made in policies or whatever, or maybe a change they made to a ride. I don't know, just any changes they made between this trip and previous trips that you either liked or disliked. So I'll give you one, for example. I really liked how, I don't know how recently they implemented this, but it was since we had gone that for the DAS passes for Levi and for you, that you could just do that remotely on your phone now without having to
Yeah.
go to the front of the line, get it, and then walk back to whatever ride you were. That
Huge
saves
help.
so much time.
And energy, honestly.
That
That's the
too,
biggest
that
thing,
too.
is if you wanted to do something else that was on the other side of the park while you waited for your DAS pass, you didn't have to walk all the way to the ride and then all the way back across the park. So we would,
I
a lot
really
of the times
appreciated
right
that.
when we got into the park, we would get a pass for Remy's because it's at the back of the park,
Mhm.
and then just make our way back there. And by the time we got back there, it was pretty much time. So that was huge help.
Yeah.
Another change with the Ice Pass is they ask you more questions. They used to just give you the pass, but now they ask you why you can't wait in line.
Well, that's good.
And so that's going to control it more. You know, people won't be abusing it as much, I don't think.
Yes.
So.
Which is definitely like a problem, not just at Disney, but within the industry. Like, you'll have teenagers that just go rent a scooter, and then that gets them to the front of the line. And, you know, but not necessarily at Disney, but like, you know, like a Silver Dollar City or Six Flags or whatever. So that's good that they're doing that to try to keep that under control and actually not just hand them out like free candy. So,
well, that makes it more accessible for people who actually need it too.
Yes,
because
exactly. So
then it doesn't limit, you know, how many people can actually use them.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Yeah, I agree there, because this trip, I kind of had like a little minor emergency where my hip, I wasn't able to walk the 2 last days.
I think it was the last 2 days, yeah.
And it was disastrous. I was like, I'm not going to be able to go to the parks because I can't walk. And so, but like having the scooter was awesome.
It's hard when everybody's, obviously, and if you need a scooter, you should have one.
Right.
But that's the hard thing when people who don't need one get one.
Yes.
It makes it harder for people who do need one to get one.
Because we ran into that the first day we went to Epcot. That like
it was the middle of the day when you got one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of.
It was like late. It wasn't
like it was like
later
30
in the
minutes
day.
after opening.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't rope drop, but we were there fairly early, and they were
Gotcha.
already gone.
That's
So,
crazy.
but the next day when we went to Hollywood Studios, we were there at rope drop, and we got it
That's
when we
good.
got into the park.
Yeah.
So it was like
We were worried about it too.
that's why we got there at rope drop, because we were like, oh, don't want to run out. So
Right. Right.
so.
But it worked
Yeah.
out.
I also did appreciate that those rentals transferred from park to park,
Yes.
so we didn't have to pay for it twice. I don't know how long that policy's been there because I've never had to get one before, but
Yeah.
I
It's a good
appreciated it. So,
It's a good one.
do you guys have any? I don't necessarily need to go in any order. Just if you guys have some.
I think for me, like, there was a lot that, like, kept breaking down, and I wish they had a better system on, like, I don't know, like, we ran into this problem, I noticed a couple of times, and, like, there was a ride that broke down, and we had, like, a pass to get into it, and then, like, the passes, like, were being weird, so you had to go to, like, guest services to get it fixed, and I just felt like it was such a big issue that, like, it really screwed us up the one night when we were in, like, they were in the queue for Flight of Passage, and we were never even able to get on the ride, period, because of
the... I mean, we got stuck in line for, like,
A long time.
an hour and a half, maybe. I don't know. It was a long time. And we had fast passes for it, or lightning lane, whatever they're called now.
Yeah. So it was,
So it shouldn't have been a long line at all.
yeah.
But we got stuck for so long.
But even, like, when we went back, like, I just felt like there wasn't a good enough system for that, like the fast passes, but also, like, we went and waited in line for Navi River, and the time frame on, like, it wasn't accurate, so, like, we, like, waited in line to the point that, like, we weren't able to get on flight because we planned it in a way that we could get on it, but because of the malfunctions that they were having with technical difficulties and rides breaking down and things, like, that's something I wish would have been different. So.
Yeah, it's tricky because, like, the one thing I wrote down that was, like, my negative between previous trips and this one was Lightning Lane and Disney Plus. I hate Disney Plus, guys. Genie Plus.
Watch your mouth.
Because, because we had Genie Plus for the duration of the trip. And, like, I'm really glad that we had it because we had lots of opportunities to use it. But it surprised me. I don't know if they've just, like, I don't know why Genie Plus feels so much worse than the Fast Pass system. Because, like, we've been on, and maybe it's because they keep building more rides, but we've been on trips where we were there for 7 days and got to ride everything, but multiple times. And we were there, when we were there,
6.5 days.
we missed, you and I, we missed out on Flight of Passage, Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are probably the two big ones, but then Tiki Room, Dumbo. There was a lot that we didn't get to go on, which I'm fine with. It happens. Town of Terror, we didn't get to go on. I've been on all of them before, so it's not like I'm heartbroken about it. But it's more like, if you pay for... it's one thing if FastPass was free, but if you're paying for Genie Plus, it should be good enough to get you on everything while you're there.
At least once. Yeah.
At least once.
Yeah,
and it
agreed.
just didn't seem like it was. And I don't know if that's because rides kept breaking down or... maybe because we had a toddler and so we had to take a slower pace than we have in the past. I don't know
negative
what
actually had to do with rides breaking down too.
Really?
Because we weren't sure if we were going to get to go on rides because we were at Hollywood Studios 2 half days.
We had, so out of the 4 parks, the headliners, there's multiple headliners, but the number one headliner at each park is Flight of Passage, Rise of Resistance, Cosmic Rewind, and Seven Dwarfs. Mm-hmm. 3 of those 4 broke down while we were in line for them.
Yeah.
So I was like...
Rise of Resistance, we had a pass for the very first day, and then it broke down for most of the day. And then we were there for another half day, and it was broken down for most of that. And so we couldn't go in at that time. And so we had 1 full day left in Hollywood Studios after that, and we were
luckily we were nervous about it.
Yeah,
so.
We were all worried about it after those first 2 half days because we were because that day was the last day of our trip. So if we didn't get on it that day,
we couldn't just go the next day or whatever.
Our park or something. So we were really worried about it, and that was my complaint was that it was broken down so much that we weren't sure we would get on it. Yeah. So
that's what happened with Flight of Passage because the first day at Animal Kingdom we didn't try to get on it because we knew we'd come back 2 other times, and then the second night it broke down, so we didn't get on. And then the last night, Navi River. You guys actually
changed.
We actually did. We changed our plans because we were only going to be at Animal Kingdom 2 days, a day and a night, and. Because we didn't get on Flight of Passage, we went back another night, and we got on Navi River, but we weren't able to get on Flight. So.
Yeah, we barely got on Navi.
We would have gotten on Navi because we were in line, but...
So do you feel like Disney has more breakdowns than other amusement parks you've been at?
It really just...
It's a mixed bag because I think Disney's are more noticeable because the lines are longer. So when we went to Cedar Point, we went to go get in line for Gemini, and we were in line for Gemini for 5 minutes, and then it broke down and we had to get out of line. But then we went back 15 minutes later and it was open and there was no line. That would never happen at Disney. There would be a breakdown and everyone would stay in line, and then you'd go back and it's a 2-hour wait because people missed out on it earlier in the day. So I don't think they happen more often than other parks. I just think they're more noticeable because there's more people. So.
Well, and I feel too, because Disney's rides are even more complicated than some of these other coasters, there's so much more that goes into them. So if an animatronic is not working, they stop the ride. They don't they turn.
Unless it's Splash Mountain.
Okay, unless it's Splash.
Or Frozen, apparently.
That's true. I forgot
about that. A whole lot of videos with broken animatronics.
Right, but even still, they try to close down the ride to fix the problem. Whereas I feel with other places that we've been to, Silver Dollar City or Cedar Point or anyway, if it's something at cosmetic
or it just doesn't even have animatronics.
Right, so it's a cosmetic thing. They don't
statue
care
that moves up and down.
Yeah.
So and they're able to knock it out quicker. I feel
Disney is open 365
days
a year.
Yes, there's no downtime for them to perform routines.
They do close rides for refurbishment, but
it's not like a
stagger it.
Yeah, it's not like a Silver Dollar City that closes in December and has 3 months to put together all of their refurbishments. And even then, they're only open on the weekends until May, and so there's a lot more downtime.
If you think about, Silver Dollar City, because those are the only 2 amusement parks I really know. If you think about Silver Dollar City, every time we go, there's at least one ride that is broken down for decent part of the day. Almost every single time, I feel like there's at least one ride that breaks down for a hot minute.
Yeah.
So, but it's a little park in Missouri, so people don't worry about that as much as Disney World. If the ride breaks down at Disney World, it's a much bigger deal to people because they spent more to get there and they're expecting more out of their time there than somewhere like Silver Dollar City. Yeah. But it is something that I feel like should be addressed because there were definitely a lot of we had a lot of issues.
I don't know
with
why
that.
it was more noticeable this time than other trips. I don't know if
Just
it's because
saying.
there was more to do and we felt
Or if they're actually
like we were
more
going to run out of
breakdowns.
time. And...
Maybe Bob Iger will like take some notes. Maybe he'll listen to our podcast and take some notes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Mr.
Tag him.
I'm sure Mr. Iger is listening right now.
Bob.
Good old
Bob.
his Twitter is Robert Iger. I'm like, okay, it's interesting.
Robert. Good old Robert.
Robert. So that kind of covers what I had. I don't know if
Covered
you
what
guys
I
had
had.
any
The
more.
negative thing of the. My change. It didn't cover my change. It covered my negative thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
not my change. I liked the virtual queue. I think it went pretty.
It was a lot smoother than it had been in the past. I agree.
I don't remember exactly how Rise of the Resistance went because I only did it the one trip that Mom and I went on. And that was such a weird trip because it was in the middle of... It was right after it opened during COVID. It reopened after COVID. And so things were still weird there, so I don't really remember how that worked then. But I feel like... I mean, we got on Cosmic Rewind twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, I was prepared for
impressed.
only one time.
I was prepared
So.
for not at all, just in case.
But
But
I knew I was going to buy a lightning lane if I
That's
didn't get a
true.
boarding pass both times. So.
But honestly, I was impressed by like how easy it was to figure it out and how smoothly it went, and like
they were super underunderstanding. Like if you didn't
had to
go
change
within
it.
your if you had to change it, or if you didn't
For
go within your 1 hour
reservations,
period
like,
for reservations, like
reservations.
they're pretty understanding. Just as long as you went to guest services and got
Yeah.
it sorted out.
And
so.
the nice thing was, I mean, you would get it if, say first thing in the morning you get on there and you get your virtual queue or whatever. A lot of the times it would give you like an estimated time, and the first time that we got it, it was like, oh yeah, 5:00 tonight you can come back. But by the time it actually rolled around, it was like 1:00. So
they did get
they got people
pumped
through
them
quickly.
pretty quick,
Even
so.
with it having a couple of breakdowns, it was still, for the most part, it was moving pretty smoothly. But we did wait in line.
I will say I was
for a while
impressed
first time,
with how well, yes, Cosmic Rewind broke down while we were in line, and it lasted for about 30 minutes before it started moving again. But for how complicated that ride is, I was
good. I mean,
pretty
even-
impressed with how well that they were
even
keeping
if we
things
had
flowing.
waited in
so.
line that long with the virtual queue, I wouldn't have been that surprised. It was more just that we were sitting in the same spot for 45
Yeah,
minutes.
that wasn't very entertaining.
Yeah, we watched the same little spaceship over and over.
Yeah.
So, but I was impressed with the virtual queue.
Yeah,
I think
virtual
it
queue was not
It
bad.
was
So.
very smooth. That's something that they
they're
didn't implement until Rise. So.
Yeah, they are putting on. They're putting Tron on the virtual queue, which I'm
Makes
not
sense.
surprised about.
Mhm.
So.
I'm very, very happy with the show Fantasmic, and how they redid the changes with Fantasmic.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that. That's a good one.
So fantastic.
So
It
fantastic.
was so fantastic. No, it really was though. I just felt like they really took advantage of the space that they had and being able to put new effects in, like Moana being able to stand on the water. Sorry, spoiler alert, but Moana being able to stand on the
This was kind of
water. Maybe you can edit it. No, I mean, but it was just really cool. I felt like they did a really good job with a lot of the special effects in that show and adding the movies that are very current to the show now. I just felt like they did a very, very good job with.
It felt seamless too. The
Yes.
new movies that they added, it didn't feel like, oh, here's the part that they added. You know,
Yeah,
it didn't. It still fit and was just a smooth.
it
How did
was.
Tevin like it?
He liked it. He really liked it. I think. Yeah, I think he said that was his favorite of the shows that we saw. He wasn't terribly impressed by Enchantment. Like, it was good, but he wasn't like...
We didn't really have good spots for...
We
I don't know about...
we had a really good spot. There was a little girl on her dad's shoulders right in front of me, so that was kind of frustrating. But the last 2 minutes of it, he finally put her down, and I could actually see. But so we had a really good like angle and everything, and we were pretty close. But we were like sardines. Like, there were people...
Yeah, that sounds about right.
3 inches in front of me, and... We sat there for 45 minutes to an hour reserving that spot. But it was worth it in my opinion because I got good pictures. So.
I think something that would be really cool is to have a spot for DAS people. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would.
To like have a spot for DAS.
Just a disabled spot because
we
it's
sat
so
in the handicap section for the parade with Levi.
Oh yeah, how was it? Was it a good spot and everything?
Yeah.
I feel like the parade, that's because a lot of autistic people and other disabilities, being that close to people is not fun. As an autistic person, it was not fun, but it was worth it to me because I like the fireworks. Mm-hmm. But that's something that would be a good addition because a lot of people couldn't handle that the way that I can.
I'm so creative. They need to hire me. I'm down. I work for Disneyland.
Go be an Imagineer.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun. I would be so down for that. You would get to live in Florida and go to Disney all the time.
Fantasmic was a lot better than I remember it. And probably, I only remember seeing it one time, and I was probably...
We saw it when we all went, when I was a senior. We all saw it.
Oh, really?
Because
I don't even remember that.
Mariah remembered it.
Oh, so. I thought she didn't remember it. Okay, so she did. So
I sent her pictures, and she was like,
"So I've probably seen it 3 times."
Think we did, yeah.
Okay, I must have seen it 3 times.
Yeah,
I wasn't crazy about them letting people in after the show.
Yes. Okay, I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
That was really frustrating.
I was literally yelling at people.
Well, because
they came in late and then left early, so they're blocking our view for the whole beginning and the entire end. So we'll only actually see the middle. And then at the end, they were just standing there like lollygagging.
Well, and
the cast members can't control when people leave necessarily, but they could have closed the doors.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel bad being that guy that's like, well, you should have been here on time, but like we're all adults and we're like, like if you don't, like if the bus leaves before you get there, I'm sorry, you missed the bus. Like, I don't understand why the show can't be the same way.
I feel like it's a new enough show too that they should have better crowd control. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's filled every single showing that they've had for like the past like 2 months. So I feel like, okay, you need to have the better crowd control. Like, okay, especially if it was, we went to the first showing. So it's like, okay, if you don't make the first showing, you don't go. Mm-hmm. Go to the second one. Like, I don't know. Personal opinion.
It doesn't bother a lot of people probably, but for us, we were in the handicap section, which is at the back of the right side of the theater, which is the last section that they fill. So when people were coming in late, they were all coming in right in front of us. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why it bothered, like it was really frustrating for us, where people that were already sitting in the other sections probably didn't even notice. So anyway.
And if we were all just adults, I probably wouldn't have been so frustrated either. Yeah. But because Levi couldn't see from his stroller with everybody walking.
Well, and there was a point where someone just stood up and just, I was about to put Parker on my shoulders, but I didn't want to be, annoying to the people that were in like that little section back behind us.
Right.
So finally they sat down. I was like, thank goodness. Like,
if they wouldn't have sat down, they would
more
have said
self-aware.
something.
So that's a good one. I forgot about that. So.
Oh, fantastic. So good though. I cried during that show. I'm not gonna even lie.
Did you put that as your favorite moment?
My favorite moment?
We'll get to that in a second. I'm just curious if that's what it was.
It's hard because it's like, as a mom, I think one of my favorite moments was like seeing Parker light up. Like, I loved being able to see him get so excited about the car show and like just,
him meeting Merida was your favorite moment.
it was really cute.
That was cute.
Or Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my gosh, Winnie the Pooh. That was over the moon. It was super adorable. And Tigger. Yeah, that was really cute. The characters did a great job with him. So,
well, before we get to favorite moments, let's talk about your least favorite moment. We'll end on it. I want to end on a good note. So, your least favorite moment, maybe, or like the thing that bothered you the most, or something that happened that.
Do I go first again?
Go ever. Do you want to go first?
I can go first. I definitely think for me it was the whole flight of passage situation. I think it
that's
just
what I put
was
too,
a
so.
major tipping point for us.
So like... here's basically what happened for those listening. So our group had split up. I don't remember why. I probably to get food. That's probably what it was. For some reason we got split up, but we had a pass to go on Flight of Passage. It was going to be like the last ride of the night. And so because we had kids with us, we have to do child swap. And so Haley wasn't feeling well, and so we had gone to get her. We thought she might be dehydrated, so we went to get her something to drink while everybody else went on the ride. And then she and I would get on the ride while they watched our son. Everybody else that was on the ride would watch Parker. So then while everybody else was in line, the ride broke down. And from what I heard from other people, I guess one theater broke down, but the other one was still functioning. Mm-hmm. So they decided to close the line, but they would let everyone else, like that was in line, keep riding. Mm-hmm. So that's why you guys were able to get on, but they wouldn't let us in line after you got off. So by the time that happened, like they said, they weren't going to reopen it the rest of the night. So now that was our...
close to the end. Like it was almost closed, so...
Yeah, it was towards the end of the day. So
it wasn't closed.
It wasn't. It was like, maybe a half hour before closing, and they just said we're not going to open the line back up. So we decided we were just going to go get something to eat and then head back to the resort. And so we looked for what allergy-friendly foods Haley could have, and we saw that Pizza Safari had pizza that she could have. So then we went over to Pizza Safari and it was closed. So it was just kicking us while we were down.
Was that the day you lost the debit card? Or was that different?
No, it was
the night that's right. I forgot that happened too.
I dropped the iPad that same night.
Oh, that's right.
It was just a domino effect.
It was such a bad day for you guys.
We took the one family picture we took of the entire group that came with us. There was
that's right. It was right after she lost the debit card.
She was crying.
It was dark. I don't think anyone could tell.
If you know she had been crying, you could tell.
That picture wasn't terribly high quality anyway.
It wasn't.
So it was
they turned the flash up to the brightness of the sun.
Levels.
I don't know why they do that, but night pictures at Disney are never good.
It's like you're glowing. There might be a castle behind you.
Yeah, I was like,
I know.
Whoa, you're brighter than the castle.
Yeah, that was a dumb situation. And then we were sitting in line, sitting on the ground, sitting in line for a while, and we did get on it, which was nice because my husband had never been on it before. So.
Yeah, so which I appreciate. I'm glad that we at least got to get him on it. So, and then he didn't get to ride Navi, but we were able to do Navi later in the week. And so
Navi made my top 10, just so you know.
So it was kind of give and take. And, I mean, we're over it now. Both of us have been on Flight of Passage, and so we know, what it's like and know how good it is.
But missing.
Yeah, that
is unfortunate too. But So that was a tough situation, and fortunately, the rest of the trip went a lot better. And
Well,
that was towards the beginning of the trip when that happened, so everything kind of improved throughout the
because
rest of the week.
when I told a cast member that we had a crappy day the day before, and she gave us she sprinkled pixie dust or Disney magic or whatever you want to call it, but she gave us free Mickey bars to kind of
Oh
make
yeah,
up
when we
for
were
it.
at Hollywood Studios the
Yeah,
next day. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
So it was just cool. It was cool to be able to talk to a cast member and stuff and have her help in the way that she could.
The other good thing that happened is when we got back to the resort that night. This is more related to food. I forgot about this, but when we went back we stayed at the All-Star Music Resort, and when we got back, we went and ate at what was it called?
The little food court.
I
I
know,
don't remember what
yeah.
it's called.
We
I know
went
it
to
has
food
a name,
court.
but
And the people at the food court were
Oh,
awesome with
fantastic.
Haley's
I
allergies.
I mean, they were fantastic just in general.
Yeah.
I loved them, and I don't even have
They
any
were-
allergies.
they
They
were
were just
great.
cool.
They were
And so there was that night they made, I don't remember what they made you that night.
Wasn't it
Was
like a
it
stir
pasta?
fry?
Was it pasta? That was
Yeah.
later in
Oh,
the week.
okay.
So they made Haley some pasta that night.
It was a shrimp Alfredo kind
Yeah,
of thing. It was
yeah.
very,
So
very good.
That kind of was a little bit of a high note at the end of a
Yeah.
bad day, and so.
Yeah.
But then later in the week, we went back to the resort early, and Haley hadn't had dinner yet. And so I went and talked to him, and I told him you can just grill some shrimp for her, and that would be fine. And he's like, "Can I make a stir fry for her?" He wanted to make something more complex, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." So he made her a custom shrimp stir fry for her. So
They gave
They
me
were-
some free sauce.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide on if I wanted Alfredo sauce or a marinara sauce with my breadsticks, so they gave me both for free.
oh.
Nice. Nice.
So they were really good there.
And it was a good food court too. It was good food. It wasn't
It was
just
very good.
here, have some chicken nuggets or some chicken strips.
And
The variety.
a muffin.
And a muffin for
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yep.
Stale muffin that's in a plastic
Yeah,
packaging.
dry muffin.
Yummy.
I think the thing that was hardest for me was feeling like we were out of sync a lot because we were staying at different resorts and
Yeah.
we had different demographics.
If it was
We had
just,
such
if it
We
was,
had Kirsi and Tevitt with no kids, waiting around for people that had kids that
We
had
didn't
to
wait for you guys.
swap.
By the end of the week,
That's
we
the
quit
thing.
waiting for you
That's
guys.
the thing, and then we had, somebody would be hungry, and so we'd be waiting for whoever was hungry at the time.
It's just hard to get
Or-
all of our
yeah.
schedules
And
Yeah.
then
on the
we
same
had,
page.
but we were trying at the same time to share DAS passes, and yeah,
it
it
was
was-
just
And
it was-
experiences. We wanted
it
to
was
do
hard.
things
We
together.
did.
That's true,
That
that's
was
true,
the other
yeah.
It's
thing. I'm like,
we
don't
wanted,
go on this ride without us. I want to be there when Tevitt rides it for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So
and
it's just-
I want to see how
That was
what Parker
hard.
thinks about this one, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that
wanted
was-
to see him on Barnstormer, but
it
it
just
was
didn't work
there
out.
was
that
just
way,
too much,
so.
and I was like, it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
so
yeah.
that was tough. I think if it had just been all adults, it probably wouldn't have been
No, it would've
difficult. I think the kids
Well,
are
I
what
don't
make
remember
that
it
tricky.
being like that when we went for Kirsi's 18th.
Maybe it's
birthday.
because
Yeah,
you
I
had
don't know, it
two
wasn't-
different kids who are on two different schedules. Because
Maybe that's what it was.
well,
Maybe
we were
if
all
we just
staying
had
together
Levi.
that time too. Because
Yes,
we just had
I do
Levi,
think that's
and
a
we were
big
all
part of
staying
it.
in a house together. So
Well,
I
it's
think
probably
those two
Parker
things-
needing to take naps is probably what for
Mhm.
us was the most complicated part. Was because once you get him to sleep, well,
Kind of-
one person can't do anything anymore because someone
Yeah.
has to stay with the stroller. So, but since Levi doesn't really take naps anymore during the day,
Well, he can ride
he's
everything now, except
Yeah,
well,
that
no,
too, that
everything.
too.
He just didn't want to ride rock and roller coaster.
Still very surprised
I'm
by that.
so I don't understand.
So funny.
So weird.
I'm like, we can't go to that side of the park. He'll want to go on rock and roller coaster. He's too small.
And then finally we
And
decide to
he's old
try
enough
it.
and big enough, and
He's
no
like,
rock and roller
No.
No
coaster.
rock and roller
no rock and
coaster.
roller coaster. Like,
What?
who are you?
What child is this? So,
Grab someone else's stroller. Like
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite
mine
moment?
was
Or?
not getting on Rise, or maybe not getting on Rise.
Oh,
that was
the,
mine.
the the stress of are we gonna
that's my
that was like the
that's
number
my-
one thing you wanted Tevin to get on, so
I was really worried about that. And then
yeah.
being out of sync was rough too. There were a couple times where we got left behind on things that I wanted to do because we were all out of sync. So because I wanted
everybody
to do,
got
I wanted
left
to.
behind at one point.
It was.
Everybody had to wait for
It's
everybody
true.
at one point. In
It
time.
sounds
It's
dumb,
just-
but I'm sad that we missed Nemo. I like that ride. I like the slow dark rides. Like we didn't ride Little Mermaid or Nemo,
that's right.
and I like those. So I was sad about that. And we almost missed out on Turtle Talk, but you and Aunt Debbie stepped out, so me and Tevin could. But we really appreciated that because you guys went on it before we got over there.
that was the
Oh,
first
that's
thing
right.
we rode that day.
We
That's
didn't
right.
get over there. We had already been in the park, so we were off doing our own thing. We were, I don't know, we were trying to get over there.
Got it.
So we almost missed Turtle Talk, but then Mom and Aunt
Yeah.
Debbie stepped out of line so we could go in instead, which we really appreciated because Tevitt was sitting there trying to figure out how it worked the whole time.
Did he ever figure that out?
I don't remember. He was fascinated. It was really funny.
Yeah.
That was what he did with everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys do Laugh Floor?
No, we
Oh, 'cause
wanted
that's
to.
the- yeah, that was the
the
same,
other
like
one that I
the-
really wanted to go on with him, but
Just ran out of time. Yeah.
It's
not
just
enough
not
time for
enough
everything.
time, man.
But
It was so hard. Yeah.
it would have been awesome if Tevitt was either the guy that dances or that guy.
that
Yeah.
would have been amazing.
That guy.
We almost went on it just the two of us, but it wouldn't have been as funny just the two of us. Like it would have been more fun if we had all been there.
Yeah.
So we.
True.
I don't remember what we ended up doing instead, but we ended up doing something instead.
Didn't you guys go
Carousel
on
progress.
carousel?
We
Yeah,
did
that
go
was
on
the
carousel
thing.
Of course.
Ah, carousel.
Classic.
So
Tevin was
good.
like, what? He got a kick out of the future part, though, because they're playing VR in that.
It's pretty
Mhm.
funny.
And
so.
it's really entertaining because we have a VR headset now,
Yeah.
and so looking at that, we're like, wow, that's what they thought VR was going to be like.
It's interesting.
So.
So, yeah.
But me and Nathan are obsessed with Carousel
Oh,
Progress,
so
so he
good.
heard us talking about it the whole
That's a
time.
classic.
Still don't
And he was
understand
like-
what the obsession is.
He was like,
is
what
Walt
is this?
Disney's?
brainchild.
Yes.
It's
Like,
his...
is it like the? I think it's the only right there that is completely designed by Walt Disney.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just like the song.
I know it's
It
outdated.
just
I
makes me
know
happy.
it's.
It just
I
makes
know
me
there's
happy.
some
It's
stuff in the humor, and there's a
nostalgic.
little off color sometimes.
It's nostalgic. It's so
I
nostalgic.
think that's how I feel with Small World, though. I love Small World.
I do too.
You
Tevitt,
don't.
Tevitt doesn't.
It's fine. I
Tevitt
have.
dislikes
I have to.
it.
I have to. I have to write it
He
every
thinks
time.
the dolls are creepy.
Okay.
He remembered that from his trip when he was little, and he did not want to go on it this time. I was like, no, we're
That's
going on
funny.
Small World. He's like, yeah, he doesn't like Small World, but I love Small World.
I do too.
It's very
It's
photogenic.
so cute.
So for me,
I like the
it's-
song. I'm like
Parker loved it.
jamming out
Oh
to
yeah,
it.
I did.
It's relaxing.
It is very relaxing.
So
Now,
happy.
would I want to be stuck on that ride for 45 minutes with the song playing? No.
I would take that
There's not
over
a
the
lot
10
of-
minutes that I was stuck on Haunted Mansion in front of the clock.
Oh my gosh! I forgot about that.
Speaking of rides, breaking
That
down.
almost made my least favorite moment. Thank you.
So, okay, so we talked about Coaster Bot on the last episode. That was our last episode that we did. They are in Disney World right now for their first time, so I've been kind of keeping tabs on their trip and their reactions. They're based out of the UK, so it's hard for them to
Gotcha.
come and do
I was
stuff
like,
overseas.
it's really
So,
weird.
um,
That makes sense.
and they rode Haunted Mansion for the first time, and they had the same thing happen. They said it
That's
stopped like 3 or 4 times,
Mhm.
and so I don't know what that's about. I don't know.
I think I heard that they are closing for refurb.
They better. They're struggling right now.
I think I did hear
Yeah,
that. So.
it got stuck for about.
Maybe it's really haunted.
It like slowed down.
They have to close it to clear out some of the real
Gotta
ghosts.
call the Ghostbusters. real quick. Got a little too haunted.
They've got 1,000 ghosts in there. There's not enough room. Things are getting stuck.
There's not room for one more.
No.
They have
Many volunteers.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, we got stuck and we were right in front of the clock, which ticks. And, you know, we got the tick-tock. And then, like, 10 feet behind us is the door where the guys are banging on it. So we had those two things, and it was dark, and you're just watching the clock.
It's funny, because I knew that's where you were. And I'm
you're
like, oh, Kirsi's going nuts right now.
About 30 seconds before it started, I pulled out my noise-canceling headphones and was putting them on, and then it finally started just a few seconds after I did that. And I was like, now it starts.
Now it starts.
But I kept them on the rest of the time because I was so overstimulated by that point.
There was also the guy, like, 3 cars in front of us that kept doing the Mickey Mouse impression while it stopped.
He was funny. I really liked him.
That was a good impression.
It was very good.
It was very good.
I wonder if it was
really
Brett.
hilarious.
Wait, what?
I wonder if it was Brett. I wonder if he was there.
No.
That's the voice of Mickey
There you go.
Mouse.
Just there.
He's just chilling. He's like, yeah, kill some time.
I bet someone would have recognized him though.
I'm sure
I
he
have
goes
no
a
idea.
lot.
I have no idea what he looks
He
like.
goes.
He's
goes
bald.
A lot. He is bald.
He's very bald.
He goes.
Mickey's
He
bald.
goes with. Is he bald? He's a mouse. He probably has hair.
He probably has fur.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fur.
He's a fur character. So he's gotta have fur.
He goes to the parks with Ashley Eckstein a lot. They're really good friends.
Oh, really?
That's fun.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's why I know he goes to the parks a lot.
Kirsty's like on the lookout.
If I see him, I might see Ashley Eckstein. She was there like the week after we went.
Of
And
course.
2 weeks before. At least that I know of. She might have been there more times.
There was
but-
someone there literally the week after that. I was
Josh Gad.
Yes, Josh.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it. Yep.
Is that everyone? I think we did everyone's least favorite.
Yeah.
Let's turn it happy now. What was your favorite moment on the trip?
Tebbit
If you could
seeing
pick it
Rise
up.
of the Resistance.
I figure that's
His
what yours would be.
face when we
Yeah.
stepped off the
That
ship.
was
Without spoilers, just when we stepped off the ship.
That's
was
true. In case you
his-
haven't been to Disney, we won't
Yeah.
spoil that part of it.
But
But
It was
Yeah.
fun.
If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And when you step off the ship, his face he was like 12 years old again, watching, like, oh, he was so happy just watching Star Wars for the first time again, but better. He was so happy.
Aw.
That was my favorite.
Jenny, what about you?
I don't know if I could pick one moment.
Okay, well,
you can take
but-
it.
do like 3. Like, do like
But
Just anything.
one of my favorite things that I really noticed this trip was Levi waving at the characters.
And stuff.
And, well, just interacting in general with everybody.
Mhm.
Like the bus drivers.
Oh,
Every
yes.
time I got off the bus, he'd say, "Thank you, have a good night." I mean, he was just so interactive with everybody. And that
He would
was
wave
just
to the
so
ride
sweet.
conductors and stuff, or ride operators, whatever they call it. It
Everybody.
was so cute.
So
He
cute.
just, yeah, he was just so, I've got so many pictures of him waving at people.
That's cute.
And he'd say, "Merry Christmas." He was just so much fun this trip.
He was. I'm sad that I didn't get to see him as much
Yeah.
on this trip
Yeah.
because we were all over the place.
Mhm.
But there were definitely, I got to see him plenty still. But
Yeah.
our last trip, I was like with him the entire time because it was just you, Dad, me, and Levi.
Mhm.
So I was, and he, every time we rode a ride, who do you want to sit with? Kizzy.
Yeah.
So I rode everything with him. So it was kind of like stark contrast to that.
Right. You
Barely
saw
seeing him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
And then, of
He was
course,
so
you know,
happy.
just being with everybody because we don't get to do that
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
often.
A
So
lot of fun.
that was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
We had been, all of us,
Minus.
before Parker and
Parker.
Tebbit.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
But that was, Haley was still new to the family at that point. She wasn't even,
We weren't even engaged.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys weren't even engaged at that point. You'd only been together for a handful of months at that point. But, so that was the only other time that we've been with everybody. And that was 5 years ago this
Yeah,
year.
it was
Yeah.
5 years ago in a
In
couple
2
months.
months, yeah. It was March of 2018,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is crazy. And Levi was like 2
Yeah.
2.5. So this trip was very different. It was fun to have everyone there. Yeah. And it wasn't Tevin's first time. It was his first time to 2 of the parks. And may as well have been his first time to the other 2.
Because he didn't remember
he
that
remembered
much.
Small World and It's Tough to Be a Bug, and that's about it.
I feel like there was one other he said that he remembered after the fact. Like, after we wrote it, he was like, oh, okay, I do remember that. But I can't remember what it was now.
I don't
So,
either.
anyway,
I know there are a couple of things he remembered,
he basically brand new.
but the park isn't even the same as it was back then now.
No, it's not. So.
It was in
Yeah, it's
2000.
always
It was
fun
about
to go with
2002.
somebody for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had been almost 20 years. No, it had
It's
been
fun.
20 years
That's
since
just
we went.
I enjoy that for any amusement park. Like when we took some friends of ours to Silver Dollar City for the first time. That was a whole adventure in of itself because the tornado came through that night.
Oh, that's always fun.
But before that happened, like getting to take them on some of the roller coasters for the first time was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
So,
I
it's
remember
fun.
feeling
It's
that
fun to
way
do that
with,
at Disney
with
too.
Mariah, my best friend in high school.
Oh yeah.
When we took her. That was the only time she'd ever been. And she cried when she saw the castle. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, and
So
Haley,
much fun.
that was the first time for Haley for some things. Like when we did Be Our Guest on that trip,
Yeah.
and when Haley saw the ballroom and Be Our Guest, she was just like,
started losing it. Yeah.
she's
Started
like,
crying.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
It's
like,
so
But there's like something like new every time too. I feel like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's
Unless your
nothing the
mom and
same.
unless your mom and dad.
you go
guys
so often that there's never anything new.
There's got to be something new occasionally, but this time I don't think there'll be anything new. There'll be things that are closed since you
Since
were last there.
Yeah. We are doing some new things though because we're doing the Keys to the Kingdom
Oh,
tour.
Are you really?
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
That's exciting.
We've wanted to do that for a long time.
That's hard to do with a Levi.
We are doing a DVC Moonlight
Mhm.
Magic Night at Epcot, which
Oh,
we've
what's
never
that?
done before. DVC members get to be in the park
She did
From
that in Magic Kingdom.
10
this
to 1
past one.
a.m.
Oh, so that's what you did at Magic Kingdom that one night. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so she's
Yeah.
doing it at Epcot. They're doing it at Epcot
Yeah.
this time.
That's cool. Can you ride rides while you're doing it too?
Sweet.
It's kind of like
It's extra magic hours, but just for DVC members. Okay,
Mhm.
and longer.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And
Is Dad gonna be able to stay awake that late?
well, it's gonna be crazy because we fly in from the Dominican Republic and then we do the Moonlight Magic and then we get up for Keys of the Kingdom the next morning at 8 and then we're doing an after hours party that night.
Oh,
You guys are
And
gonna
we
have
get
to
up
go
early
take
the
naps.
next morning to get on our cruise.
You guys
is
are gonna
that
have
Keys?
to
Is
take
Keys to the
naps.
Kingdom at Magic Kingdom?
Mhm.
So after the tour, you'll just go sit in Carousel of Progress and take
Take
a
a
nap.
Just read through a few
Maybe
times.
the train. We
Sometimes
can stay
they'll
on the
let you.
train.
Been there,
Sometimes-
done that.
Sometimes
so.
they'll let you.
Yep.
They let.
I did that.
Yeah, Haley and I got permission to stay through 2 cycles of Carousel of
Yep.
Progress while she took a nap.
Yeah.
Totally loved it too. It was the best ever.
And I loved it because I got to watch Carousel of Progress.
There are a few places that are really great for naps.
It's true.
They're really great to stay awake during too, though.
Yeah.
You know, like the American Pavilion,
Oh yeah.
Hall of Presidents.
Hall of Presidents.
I'm trying to think. It's such a toss up for me though. Like what my favorite moment is. Because I loved seeing Parker with Tigger.
So I'll tell you, I have 2. One that's obvious and one that's not obvious. My not obvious one is that one. When we got to meet Winnie the Pooh, like that was because we had taken him to a couple character meet and greets, and some he was okay,
like we
some
even
he
did
was.
Mickey.
We did
unsure about
Mickey, and he was like he wouldn't let us put him down for Mickey, but he would interact with Mickey if we held him.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when we did Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, he was all over
Yeah.
it and just ran up to
So
them
happy.
and gave them hugs.
Yeah.
Gave both of them a hug and high fives, and
It was the
he was
sweetest
so
ever.
cute with them.
Yeah.
And we got tons of pictures and video, and
Yeah.
it was just really cool.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Yeah.
So,
My obvious one is writing Cosmic Rewind.
yeah.
So
I knew that.
it's pretty self-explanatory.
So good.
But I liked Fantasmic too, but I know I mentioned that already.
That's what I was gonna guess. Fantasmic was gonna be your number one because you
just
literally
I
cried.
loved them for two complete different reasons.
That's fair.
So, because I loved Fantasmic like for myself as an experience, but like I think like as a mom and like watching Disney through a child's eyes, like seeing him like, oh my gosh, it is Tigger and Pooh. Like,
it is crazy to go to Disney as a parent versus as without any kids. It is totally different. So you have to change your mindset too, though, because it's like, I didn't get on Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, better luck next time.
Yeah. It's okay. Tim and I wrote it twice for you guys.
oh, thanks.
Or Flight of Passage. If we didn't have Parker, we would have gone Flight of Passage with you guys.
I think that was seriously, and it's so disappointing, like, because now I guess we're doing top 10 now.
I have one other question I was thinking about earlier today, and if you can't come up with an answer, that's fine. It's not a pop quiz.
It is a pop quiz.
Trivia.
You're popping.
Welcome to Trivia Night on Time Traveler. No, I was just thinking today, if you could pick one ride at Disney that you feel like is outdated and needs to be removed, what ride would you take out and what would you replace it with? So what ride would you take out and why? And if you would replace it with something, what would you replace it with?
Well, the one I would take out already got taken out last week.
Splash Mountain.
It was so run down. It was so run down.
I kind of just let it go.
They really did. But they've been letting it go for a while because even when Mom and I went in 2020, it was already run down at that point, and they just
I feel like they've known for a while that they were going to make the change, and I think that's why. But I feel like even before then, there was animatronics that weren't working. So I feel like even 18, 17, maybe even earlier than that, they felt like they knew they were going to make the change, and so they just started to kind of back off on maintenance costs.
I think too. So are we talking all attractions or
just anything?
Rides?
Anything that you think is outdated at Disney and just needs to be done away with and replaced with something other than Genie Plus.
Attractions. I feel like Tom Sawyer.
You're not allowed to say Carousel of Progress.
Tom Sawyer Island. That's an interesting one.
I just feel like it's a wasted space.
I'm curious if they're going to utilize that space for all the announcements that they made a couple months ago.
Which I could totally see that happening. But yeah, we didn't even think about doing it because it was just like it almost was a waste of time.
I can't even remember if I've ever been on Tom Sawyer Island before.
I don't think I've only been once, and you weren't with me. So
I've been.
The only time I can think maybe is when I went on that trip with Adam back when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
You and his mom went.
Do you know that story? Okay. Basically, I went on a trip with my friend's family, and I learned quickly that they are not hardcore amusement park goers. They plan to skip Hollywood Studios entirely, and so I asked if we could go ride Rock and Roller Coaster, and so my buddy and his dad decided to stay at this resort and go swimming, and so his mom took me to Hollywood Studios so I could ride Rock and Roller Coaster.
Ladies and
How old
gentlemen.
were you?
Gosh,
I think you were 12.
I must have been 11 or 12. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first sign of
that should have been the first sign that I was a coaster.
Especially because you're an introvert and you
I was
weren't
willing
that
to
close
do
to
that.
them.
No.
That's hilarious.
So okay, what if mine is don't get rid of it, but just actually update it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
So I've thought about that. So I want to hear your thoughts.
It's a little bit. It's bumpy now, and I get a headache when I ride on it. And that's I can only sit in the front row, or at least close to the front. But I just it's easier to say, can
We
I have
could
the
do a
front row?
whole episode on rides that need to be
Refurbished.
But honestly, I
So
feel like,
that ride
I feel
is
like Rock
now-
and Roller Coaster could be rethemed entirely now.
It could,
because
yeah.
Aerosmith is, while classic and iconic, is very irrelevant now.
The
A
thing
lot of
that's-
people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of younger people aren't going to know who Aerosmith is unless they really like classic
Yeah.
rock.
The thing that's interesting that I've kind of noticed with Disney over the past few years is it's pretty obvious that they're moving away from telling new stories and rather they're focusing on IP attractions. So that's why, you're seeing Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and
Remy's.
all the stuff in Pandora. You see Remy's, you see Guardians of the Galaxy, Tron. Everything is based around a character that's already established and popular.
Yeah.
So for them,
Which
so
makes more sense.
because do you guys know what they did with Rock and Roller Coaster in Paris? They converted it into a Marvel Iron Man roller coaster.
Yeah.
So, and that just opened earlier this year, and people hate it, but that's besides the point. They just say they just feel like it was lazy, like the animatronic is meh, and so I don't know. Anyway,
That's
so
not
but the
the
idea is a
right
good
thing,
idea.
so.
So I thought about that. I was like, okay, what if they were to do the same thing? The only problem is they don't have the rights to do Iron Man.
Yeah.
Well, do they? There's no Iron Man in Disneyland, is there?
Disneyland.
At the Adventures Campus?
Not a ride, is there?
There's not a ride. I know that. I can't remember if
I
they
don't
can
know.
use Iron Man or not.
No.
I don't think they
I've seen
can.
them.
I think
I haven't seen any
Universal
pictures
still. I think Universal still owns the rights for that one.
Gotcha.
It's complicated stuff in the U.S. between Universal and Disney as far as the Marvel stuff goes, but I do.
But something.
I could totally see them doing something else with Rock and Roller Coaster.
Just need to find another artist.
See, and I could see them even going away from music entirely and doing something with an IP.
Well, because here's the thing too: is the attraction that's right behind Rock and Roller Coaster is that Cars show, which
That whole area is just
It
kind
was-
of a
it was
hodgepodge of different
cute
attractions.
for the fact that like Parker died when he saw Lightning McQueen, but the actual animatronic I feel like was very poor.
Yeah.
Kind of meh.
Yeah.
Like the mouth is just kind of
It looks like
unsettling.
A screen.
It's
like
very
a,
obvious that
that it's a
it's
screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
The eyes are fine, but it's the
Yeah.
mouth is kind of
And the movements were good too. I was impressed by all the movements
yeah.
and stuff.
It's just they
It's
should
just the
they
mouth.
should have put a practical mouth on there rather than trying to do that.
Yeah, even if
projected
it didn't
mouth.
work as didn't look as good,
So,
like the movements.
I would love to see what they could do if they just took. Obviously, you're going to leave Tower of Terror as is. You converted the one to Disneyland. You have to keep the one in Disney World the
Please.
same. People would.
I will cry.
They have to keep that one the same.
I would cry.
So it would be interesting to see if they could take that general idea and apply it to everything. But you couldn't get rid of the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy that way. I don't know. I don't know what to do with
I mean,
Rock and Roller
honestly,
Coaster.
It's interesting because I feel like Rock and Roller Coaster could fit Cars, but it's not a kid's ride.
No,
So it would be hard because kids would want to ride it, but it's a thrill ride.
and it's
Right.
it's the tallest
Uh-huh.
height
But, like,
requirement in all of.
It totally could fit Cars.
Yeah, I don't. It's so
If
tough.
they...
Really cute.
It would be so fun. They wouldn't even have to change the track or anything. They could fix the track, but like the track could
The
stay
ride-
the
the
same.
ride
just
is-
retheme
The
it
ride turns
entirely.
25 this year, I think.
Wow.
It shows.
Yeah, it does. It
I
does
can only
show.
ride in the front now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
So it's tough for me because I'm partial to the music because I do like classic rock,
Yeah.
but I understand for other people that's becoming less and less.
Well,
That ride
yeah.
is the only
I
reason
mean-
I know any of those songs.
Well, I was gonna say, if you've been riding the ride your whole
Mhm.
life, those songs are relevant to you.
Yes, yes.
But if you're visiting for the first time,
You don't
No.
really care
Yeah,
unless
it's
you
like-
listen to Aerosmith.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a ride that could
So,
do
what
it.
other
So-
artists would you put in there if
Harry
you kept
Styles.
it?
Just
Harry
kidding.
Styles. Oh,
Someone
my
said
gosh.
Hannah Montana.
Okay, when you told me that there was a rumor, I was like, oh, don't even Don't even with that. Hannah Montana's less relevant than
What
Elvis.
if they did something more generic, like
Just
the
music.
Rip Rocket, whatever it
Yeah,
is,
Rip Ride
where
See,
you could
So here's the
choose.
interesting thing. I just saw this on Twitter yesterday. Imagineer actually tweeted. I follow him. He tweets about stuff all the time. I don't think he works there anymore. He's like a former Imagineer. But he worked on Rock and Roller Coaster and said he actually pitched that idea when they were doing it, and they just decided it was too cost intensive. And
Which
then
makes sense.
Universal
You have
picked
to-
it up and put it on theirs instead.
Okay.
So it is interesting
know,
that you
I-
mentioned that.
I didn't feel like obviously, I didn't like that ride because I blacked out. Rip Ride Rocket.
I won't get on it.
Yeah,
So
me and
good.
Haley didn't have a great
It's
experience.
so
on that
good.
one,
I don't know why everyone hates
but because I blacked out.
it.
Multiple times.
Why
So,
did you hate it?
but but I had a hard time with the music because I couldn't find anything that I liked on there. I ended up going with I think Firework by Katy Perry, which I wasn't even like, yeah, this is a great song. It
You
was
don't
just
have
like,
a lot of time to pick a song
exactly.
on Rip
So
Ride Rocket.
that's why I feel like because
It has a
many
move. It has a
choices.
move. You have 30,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like
and also there's a secret playlist too. If you,
oh gosh, maybe
Yeah.
I would have found a song on there that I liked.
well, you have to know the code. So you look it up online, find the because what happens if you hold the Rip Ride Rocket logo for like
Oh,
3
gotcha.
seconds, then a keypad pops up, and if you put in the code for what song you
Interesting.
know, then it'll play that one.
Now you want to
Interesting.
write it again, don't you?
I want to
would-
write.
I would
I
write
didn't know
it
about that
again.
until we did our episode on
I'd
Hollywood Rip
write
Ride
it
Rocket.
again.
you can go with it.
That's the only time I've ever blacked out on a ride, so it was probably a fluke. But
No.
ridden
I have PTSD.
many rides.
I just typed this in, and I typed in Hollywood Rid Rice Rocket. That's a totally different rice.
Get rid of the rice.
Get rid of the rice. How many songs does it have? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with the Rock and Roll Coaster because I thought, what if they just did generic rock and roll theme? But I think that might be even less appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because then you'd lose the nostalgia for the people who care
Yeah.
and the people who
And
don't
then everyone
care about
if you just
rock
played
or
some-
like whatever.
Bland.
You need to do like a Big Hero 6.
What if they did it? What if they did a?
that'd be
s-
cool.
Oh, that I do
That's
like
a
that.
good
I
idea.
could get behind that.
And that's it. That actually fits in. Like that's an they can obviously use an IP with that. Ooh,
But like,
I really like that.
and the
idea.
track fits that too, because like riding around on Baymax or something when he's got his wings,
Yeah.
like
They could redo the trains. That's what they did with the Iron Man one.
yeah,
They redid
just
them.
redo the trains and redo
And
like
redo
the
the track.
decorations and stuff and fix the sinking track, so it's not. Yeah, I like that idea. I think someone should call up good old Bob.
Robert.
Robert.
Call Rob.
Speed dial.
If only.
Right.
All right. I think with that, we'll move into our final segment. So I asked everybody to compile their top 10 attractions at all of Walt Disney World. Now, okay, so I want to know your guys' opinion. Should we all share like our 10th and then I'll share our 9th and like work our way down?
Oh, I was
Or should
gonna
we do one
let's-
person at a time?
I think it'd be fun to do all our 10th and all our 9th.
Oh, see, I was the opposite. I was like, we should do the whole list and then explain why.
We
per
can still
person.
explain why.
Yeah, I think
By
it'd be
attraction.
fun to work up to
I
all
think
of our firsts.
the reason I agree with that is because I feel like our lists might be similar, and so for the first person, they'll do all the rides, and then
Yeah.
the rest of us.
That's
It
fair.
might be
That's
totally
fair.
different, though. We have
They
no
might
idea.
be.
It'll be
Fun.
interesting.
I think mine will
There's
be
too
different
many.
than you guys because I'm not as much of a thrill
I think
seeker.
mine will be similar. My
I don't know.
top couple will be similar to yours, I'm guessing. But
It's the moment you've been waiting for. I wouldn't tell you my thoughts on Cosmic Rewind until we did
that's
our top
right.
10.
You
That's
ended
right.
up telling me.
I told you your thoughts, but you don't know where I rank it.
That's not true. You did tell me.
I don't think
You
I
didn't
did.
tell me
did
though.
tell me.
You didn't
Okay.
tell me though.
Anyway.
All right, start with 10.
Okay, who wants to start? You want to start?
Sure.
What's your
Okay.
number 10?
Runaway Railway.
Runaway Railway.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Oh no.
Oh,
Come back to
Jesus.
me. I
Okay.
have to revise
My number
my-
10 is Navi River.
Navi River.
I'm so sad that we didn't get to go on that one because it is a beautiful ride.
Sorry.
I'm playing with Parker's toys on the podcast.
Fidgeting. I'm
Noisy
sorry.
toys.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Alright. My number 10 is Splash Mountain. Rest in peace.
I'm so excited.
I am excited to see what they can do with it. Like, obviously, that one has a lot of nostalgia for me. The only thing I have a problem with, I just wish they would have called it, like, Tiana's Splash Mountain Adventure or something, just so that...
Yeah, Splash Mountain, Tiana, like...
Just so that Splash
Colon.
Mountain was still Splash Mountain, because
Yeah.
that's still what everyone's going to call it.
Because now we don't have the mountains.
Yes.
We've only got 2. and now
Everyone's
it's-
going to call it Splash
Yeah.
Mountain. It's not going to change. It's still going to be
Yeah,
So,
I do agree with that, as excited as I am for
yeah,
the change.
so I know they're going to do a really good job with it, though.
Yeah. I'm just excited for more Princess and the Frog representation in the parks.
Yes.
And just in general. But
Oh, that's one place I didn't get to try. Was going over to the New Orleans restaurant and trying her.
the beignets.
Yes,
Do they
because
have those
they
there?
do have allergy-friendly beignets, and I'm like,
Ooh.
why didn't
Where
I
is that
try
at?
those?
Yeah, where is
Disney
it?
Springs, off of Disney
Oh.
Springs.
Or is that the Tiana's restaurant? Where's that at?
the
They don't have
no?
Tiana's restaurant.
It's just New Orleans something
Where?
where the beignets are.
Disneyland?
No, there's one in Disney
Oh,
World.
I haven't had them in Disney World. Just
Yeah, and
Disney.
Disneyland, they're changing the New Orleans restaurant to be Tiana's
Yeah.
Palace. And I need to go to Disneyland when they do that.
They're doing some cool stuff at
They
Disneyland
are
right
doing
now.
It's true.
cool stuff in Disneyland.
They're cause I don't know if you guys saw, but just in the past week, they're opening their Runaway Railway. Have you seen pictures of the queue? Is 10 times better than the queue at Disney World. Like the
Weird.
props and the decorations are so cute.
Did they
So-
start from scratch
Yeah, pretty much.
instead of like
Yeah, they built it
Or-
from the ground up. So that's part of why they were able to do what they wanted to do. So
Nothing.
what are you laughing about?
She likes my fidget toy that I gave
Ah,
her.
okay. So they did that. They also just started construction on the new San Francisco section that they're doing over at California
So
Adventure.
cool.
So they're doing a lot of cool stuff over there. So anyway,
One of these days.
I mean, next Disney trip will be a Disneyland trip. So
one of these days.
one of these days.
All right, do you rework your list?
I did.
Okay.
Okay,
what's
so
your
what's
number
number 10?
People Mover.
Oh, I forgot the. I feel like we're gonna be doing this a lot.
So wait, that would be on your top 10?
You know what? No, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna stick
That's
with
what.
mine. But I did forget about it, so I'm like, dang it.
I
So-
just love. Well, I mean,
I love the views.
it's been around forever,
Yeah.
and I've
You
been
can
riding
tell-
it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not there, but at Disneyland, and it's relaxing. So relaxing and long,
Mm-hmm.
and the views.
The views are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell it's been there a long time because they don't have speakers on the vehicle. They have like 3 million speakers across the roof of the ride. That's the only way they could figure out how to do that back then.
And it's really heartbreaking that they tried to change it at
Disneyland and ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what was that ride that they built on the something rockets?
yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but
What a bust.
so
All right, number 9, Miss Haley.
Three. Okay, I gotta go find it again. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
It's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's my 9.
When we wrote it this time, we got like, I don't know if our view was bad or our glasses were faulty or if the projector was struggling, but we could only see through one eye. We had to like close one eye to see
That's
it.
weird.
It was so weird.
That seems to say that because the way 3D works is you have 2 projectors that are projecting the image, and then when you wear the glasses, that's what, flips it to be
me
3D.
and
So
Ted
I wonder
both
if one of the
were like,
projectors was
this
malfunctioning.
is not right. We're sitting there trying to figure out. Were you with us then? Did you have that problem?
I think so. Was it when you rode with Levi?
Levi between us, yeah. Did you have that problem too?
I don't remember.
Do you remember? Yeah. It was really frustrating because I don't know if that was Tevin's only like first time that he'd been on it or only time or not, but it was really sad. But I've been on it other times, so it was fine. But it was really weird.
What'd you like about it?
What did I like about it?
Without
it was
spoilers.
very attention detailed, I feel
Yes.
like. Just to the artwork and the flooring and on the
The
walls.
screws
The
coming out
smells.
through.
Like,
It really makes you feel like you're tiny.
the queue,
which is so,
the
it's
queue
so
was
cute.
incredible.
My favorite is the way you feel like you're actually on carpet.
Yes. The part when you're on carpet,
Yeah.
you're actually like
Bumping
It
over.
feels.
it's so
It
good.
feels like carpet.
It
It's
does.
weird.
My only
Why do
complaint
that?
is there's like the part where there's like an oven above you
Mhm.
and there's like fire. They don't like blow heat on you or something. They totally missed an opportunity there.
It
to
does
blow.
get hot though.
It's like as you're wheeling
Going
out,
out.
there's
Yeah.
like a vent that like blows heat on you as you're like going out from
out.
under it. And like
Mhm.
they should have, when it turns on, you should get like a
Just-
blast of heat.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing like crazy, but like
Yeah.
old test track when you had the heat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something
Yeah.
like that. It's totally doable. So I was fully expecting it when we went under the oven, and I was like,
My favorite part that just totally caught me off guard was the mop. Like when it mops and like the water just, I was
Awesome.
like, whoa.
Love that
So
part.
it was very, very immersive.
I like
so.
the bread, the smell of the bread at
Yes.
the end.
Mm.
It smells so
Yes.
good.
They did a
Good
great
ride.
That was a
job.
good one.
Good ride.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 9.
My number 9 is Haunted Mansion.
It's a good
That
one.
is also my number
I had a
9.
hard time. That was
The
like
same number 9.
very close to making my list.
Mine too.
So hard to choose.
I chose Kilimanjaro Safari.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mine. Mom's mad now.
I did not get to ride that this time.
No, that made me really sad that you didn't get to. Tevin and I he didn't rope drop, but we got there really early and rode it before anyone else was in the parks. So.
We got a lightning lane for that one. Yeah, that's the only reason. And it was just the 3 of us. We had to break
Yeah.
off from the group to get that
Yeah.
one.
We had to
did
break
only
off to get on
get
it, too.
stuck because there was a giraffe that wouldn't move.
We did.
Yeah, we had a
Stuck
giraffe
right
that just kind of walked right up to us. He was really close to us, so that was
we
cool.
had one too.
Okay. We have a magic box in the kitchen that just moved on its own.
That's not. I don't know how.
Because we said haunted mansion.
Got rid of the ghost. Sent him here.
The traveling ghost came with the
Hitchhiking ghost
hitchhiking
made it
ghost.
And we got a great family picture outside
We
the Haunted
did.
Mansion.
That is a really
Iconic.
fun picture.
I will say I will pat
Classic.
myself on the back because I was like,
Yes.
we should go do that, and
It's probably my favorite
it was a lot of fun.
picture
Yeah,
that we
for
got
sure.
this trip.
So,
Very
Such a
cute.
good one.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
cute.
I was proud of myself. I was like, yes, I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah.
But
All right. Number 8.
oh, my turn again.
Yeah.
Well, what was your number 9?
Haunted
Haunted
mansion, I said.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we had the same.
Mine was Big Thunder Mountain. So solid.
That's way too low on your list.
I'm gonna warn you now.
You ride all the
I'm
thrill
gonna
rides.
warn you
It's
now.
not
I
even
didn't
on
make
your
my
list.
list.
Make your list, really?
You know,
Why don't you like it?
I do like
Well,
it.
okay,
It's-
that's not fair. Why
it's
don't you
just
like
not-
it as much as
Because I
the
like
others?
other things more.
Well, yeah, like that was my issue there. But like this past ride, for some reason, I had a hard time with the airtime. Like that really threw me for a loop.
You've gotten spoiled with the other stuff that we rode this summer.
No, No,
Was it
I'm not
too
Oh,
much?
it's too much airtime? Oh.
Yeah, because like I literally felt like I was flying out of my seat, and it scared me. Like it did. Like, and I knew it wasn't
It's
going
hard
to.
because you share a lap bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that
And
was
so
hard
if
for
the
me
person
because like
you're riding
I was
with
doing that
bigger,
too,
then
but it was fun.
I don't know why it just freaked me out for some reason. So like I had a hard time like feeling that safety feature for me. So I
I
think
think that ride could do with separate lap bars.
No.
But I don't mind it. I just know that it's problematic if you're like with a little kid.
Yeah.
Because riding it with Levi is stressful because he's so little.
Sliding all over.
So he's sliding and lifting out of his chair. But I like the feeling.
Nobody
I
does
like
falling
the feeling.
out, so.
I like the feeling.
Yeah. So that was so that's why I like other things better.
Yeah.
But
I
One of
have a
its
hard
best
time with-
features is that you share a seat and
You
You
slide
slide
it.
back
That's
and
against
forth.
true.
each other.
That is true. I have a hard time with
Really?
I don't like that.
You like to be
secure.
Yeah.
5-point harness.
not moving until this ride is over.
Pretty much. That's how I like that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with the chains. They're so freaking loud.
Oh,
They were
they're
very
so
loud.
I got like those noise level notifications that you get on your Apple Watch.
Yep,
I
yep.
got one of those for that.
That's certainly
So,
probably the loudest ride on property. Probably the loudest roller coaster I've ever been on.
it's so bad.
For real.
Yeah,
But
so loud.
I do love it. It just didn't make
Yeah.
the top 10 because there's
Yeah.
so
I
many.
feel like
Okay.
Fire in the Hole's pretty loud too, though. But
Not as loud as.
no, not as loud. But yeah.
What you got, number 8?
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
See, yours is too.
Well, why it's not higher is because it's not comfortable.
See,
The
and
seats are not comfortable
I-
for me.
Yeah.
My seat is too wide for that.
Even mine, my hips are too wide for that ride too. It's not quite uncomfortable for me, but it's not comfortable either.
It's
like,
just.
very snug for
It's just
me.
there.
I'm not sure why they even thought that was a good idea.
They just thought kids were gonna ride by themselves. Like,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And it's too short.
It is too short. That ride's so fun and so happy.
if you want to learn more about why it's too short, go listen to episode 3 of Airtime
I
Traveler.
have, but I don't remember.
Budget cuts. So the original plan was there was going to be like 2 indoor sections. Like the original plans were it was going to be a lot longer, and then it got cut once, and then it got cut again. And
Is that Robert's fault?
I guess he would have been the CEO when that happened. So I don't know if it's his
Dang,
fault
Rob.
or if they just spent too much money on other things.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it like that. He's listening. So.
All right, number 8.
Space Mountain.
See, that's too low.
It didn't
Space
even
Mountain.
make my list.
It didn't. I didn't used to like it as much because it was too jerky. But as I've gotten older, for some reason, I've been able to tolerate that more. Usually, it's like the other way around, but I like it now. I didn't used to like it when I was younger, but
My number 8 is Runaway Railway. So I like that
cute
one.
one.
Yeah.
It didn't make my
It's
top
fun.
10, but
It's
so cute.
it's like I can't. I liked Remy's. I wish they had done it without 3D glasses.
I agree.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's my only complaint with Remy's, and that's the only reason I put Runaway Railway higher.
I think for that, because it's like when you have a kid that doesn't like things on his
Yeah,
face.
see, Parker
he didn't
wouldn't
get
wear
it.
the glasses, so he was
Yeah.
probably like.
They do have some actual props on that ride
They do,
too,
they
which
do,
is
yeah.
nice because if it were all 3D, it would make me sick because I
And then
can't
just
do
be a
3D.
universal ride. Hey!
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So
Not some of their newer stuff. Some of the stuff they did in the 90s and early 2000s. It's
they're
just
all their Harry
3D
Potter stuff
screens.
except for the new Hagrid's, but
Yeah, or like the Spider-Man ride, which people love, but I was like, eh.
yeah.
All right, number 7, Haley.
I Expedition Everest.
I also have Everest at number 7.
Mickey Minis.
Mine is Flight of Passage. The only reason it's so low is because it does make me sick. So I have to be really, and it's harder with my glasses. 3D plus wearing glasses is difficult. I never feel like I can get my 3D glasses in the right place to make it
Clear.
like the one room where you're like in the dark, like in the cave.
Yeah,
the one scene where you're in the cave, I could never get that just to actually be clear. I was looking at 2 of everything in there the whole time. So, but it makes me sick. As sad as it may seem to you guys, I do wish it were a little bit shorter because then I could enjoy it more without getting sick.
They talked about
but
making
it's like,
it longer.
But it's like so long that I get sick by the end of it and I can't enjoy it as much.
Would they make it longer or just take some of the scenes and replace them with stuff in the new movie?
Out and replace with the new movie.
That's
I
probably.
feel like that would make more sense because the line is already so long.
That's what I was going to say. They don't want to decrease capacity. So.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like if they made it just 30 seconds shorter, I'd probably be fine. But
yeah,
it's just a little too long for me.
Yeah. I have Everest down further than most coaster enthusiasts probably would, but
you don't like
I don't know.
backwards.
Well, and like this time I didn't get sick on it like I usually do because I had, my motion sickness care package. But I also just realized it's kind of just a lot of turns. Like there's really only one airtime moment.
There's not much like to look at or anything either.
Yeah, I mean, if the Yeti was working, that would, add a whole nother level to it. And like the theming and the mountain obviously are incredible. Better, than 99% of any other roller coaster out there. But the actual ride experience, it's just kind of turns. And
I think if you don't like the backwards part, that takes a big...
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because
that's fair.
If that thrill
really
is something
that.
you enjoy, I mean, that's a good ride.
That's fair.
If you don't like that part, it's just a hill and a few turns.
That's a good point.
Is that everybody's 7?
Yep.
So my 6 is Everest. So
your 6 is Everest. So you'll
segue
piggyback
right
onto
into
that.
that.
Yeah.
So I really like it because, and obviously it's not that much higher than yours, but I love the backwards part.
Yeah.
But I also love sitting in the front, not only because the backwards part is the most intense if you're in the front, but also because of the view at the top of the mountain. Because I love being up high,
really
so that view is super cool. Because you can see like Spaceship Earth off in the distance and stuff like that. So I love that part. So I really like that ride. Mom, on the other hand, is not a fan.
When was the last time you went on it?
It was probably like 5 years ago.
It hasn't gotten better. That's for sure.
Peek at my eyes.
Sorry, I just want to make sure you read your number. You go next.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Rise of the Resistance.
See, that's too low.
It's
That's my turn. Everyone else had said that. I had to say
a
that.
Hardcore Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think it's awesome. I really do. It's amazing technology.
Doesn't surprise me that that's where it is.
What's your feeling on the end of the ride? The part where it drops out of the...
Oh.
It's fun.
So you like that part? Okay.
Yeah, part. That's the best part of the whole ride.
It is the best part.
It's fun.
It's awesome. They did a great job with that.
It's just the right amount of thrilling for me.
Gotcha. It doesn't go too much over the board. Yeah.
Mine's 7 Dwarfs.
That's number 6.
So good.
I kind of explained why.
Yeah.
7 Dwarfs for me, I had it a lot higher before our trip. And then I wrote it again, and I was like, I thought the same thing. I was like, it's too short. And the ride changes so drastically from the front seat to the back seat.
It's really
in the front, it's just kind of like, you're just getting pushed. But on the back, you actually get a little bit of airtime. So it just kind of depends. So
you ride in the front if you're with a little tiny kid.
Well, with Levi, they always ask us, where we want to sit.
Oh, that's nice.
And so we always get the back.
Which we did ride. I rode it twice, and we did ride in the back both times this time around. But I just was like, it's too short.
It is really short.
And I realized I like Slinky Dog Dash better than Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
So. My number 6 is Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah.
Such a good one.
It is so good. We only got night rides this past time, and I just realized how much I think night rides are even better than day rides on Big Thunder. It's just
That was my first roller coaster, so
yeah.
I've kind of got it. Not at
Disneyland.
World,
Yeah.
at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Disneyland's version is
Better.
Superior.
yeah.
I think it was like Disneyland's was better, and then Disney World made theirs better, and then Disneyland made
Made
theirs.
it even better.
And if you want to learn more about Big Thunder Mountain, go listen to I don't even remember what the number was on that one. I think it was episode 14 was Big Thunder Mountain. So talked about all 4 Big Thunder Mountains on that episode. So. All right, Miss Haley, number 5.
Navi River.
So good.
That's very good.
Amazing.
So pretty.
Now, is it the animatronic that does it for you?
Everything.
Just all of it?
It's everything.
Same.
I had a hard time putting it that low.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because
Haley,
like
some of you that listen know this already, but Haley loves Avatar and
it's
the
my
World of
favorite.
Pandora. So.
It's my favorite. So like, yeah, just I could walk around Pandora, especially at night, for hours and never get bored. Like just never.
That's me with Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
We did do that actually with Galaxy's Edge the last night.
Yep.
And that's me,
So,
the hub at Magic
I
Kingdom.
That's also me with the
Well,
Hobbit Magic
I
Kingdom.
think
That's
what was
me.
a turn off for me.
The Cosmic Rewind.
Just in front. You're just gonna walk circles in front of
In
the
the train.
ship. Oh, in the train.
Just let me go again.
No. I think what the biggest turn off for Navi was this time is we went on it when I had the scooter and I
Oh
couldn't
gosh,
do the DAS.
going through to the
because-
line with the scooter was horrible.
Yeah, I didn't have a DAS because it was so far into the end of the trip that
Yeah, we
it
were
was
just like, it's not
no
worth
point.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to navigate the queue.
It wasn't an accessible queue.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was
It-
definitely.
Well, and
was-
you
it
guys
was
thought about turning around, but you couldn't get
We
turned
couldn't get
around.
turned
so
around.
even if you had
we
decided
were stuck
to go back to
Literally
Final
was
Passage, you
stuck.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was accessible to the point that there's like not stairs or anything, so like we could get to the front of the line, but the line is just
It was
they crammed so much
narrow.
line into a tiny space, which clearly they needed because it still gets overflowed. But
right.
my gosh,
Right.
that ride is
So that
crazy.
was like my turn off, so that's why I kind of put it down lower. But I still love it
Yeah.
so much. The actual ride
I'm
itself.
really sad that Teva didn't get to see that animatronic.
Yeah.
It's an incredible
Someday.
So
shot.
Someday.
Save it for the next one.
There we go.
And
Something
it
to
might
look
even
forward
be
to.
better because of the new movie that came out. We don't know. So
Number 5.
Test track.
Hey, that's also my number 5.
It's a good one.
See, that's interesting you mentioned that because
What did you mention?
Test
she
track
said
didn't
didn't
make
make her top 10.
Oh.
So I read this Twitter thread this past week that people have been complaining about Test Track and saying that it's outdated.
It is
I was
a
like,
little.
really?
The technology is spotty. That's my problem with it. Is like you make your cool car and then you go in there and it's like you got like a 15% chance of it actually showing up on the screen.
That part.
So
I
that
do- I
frustrates
do see
me.
that.
That's not why it didn't make my top 10. But
Now,
that part's
I am
frustrating.
curious
So I could see
your
why
opi-
people would say
Yeah.
it's outdated.
I am curious on
because
your
of that.
opinion. Do you prefer Test Track 1 or 2?
I really don't care because I don't. The part that I like is the
The outdoor
run
portion. Yeah.
at the end.
That's
I don't really
interesting,
care
'cause
about
you don't
them
usually
making
like
the car.
fast, so that's interesting.
Again, it's like
It's like right.
it's the top
just
of my thrill
Gotcha.
threshold.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so for me, that's exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
I love Test Track.
Yeah. I
It
was
was
seeing.
close to my
I was
top 10.
seeing a lot of people saying they prefer the original Test Track over
I love
the new
making
one.
the car. I
So-
have so much fun
I
making
saw
a
a
car.
video. I mean, making the car is fun if you're good at it.
Yeah, like you, since you beat us all.
But I was watching a video from the original one, the other day and remembering what it was like. It was fun.
Yeah,
I was
I'm kind of nostalgic for the original now.
I don't
Ride
remember
that
it
again,
very
but,
well because
yeah.
I was so little
You
when
were
it changed.
Because it was kind of like, it was thrilling, but it was kind of comedic too. Like,
yes, yeah.
So, and like, it wasn't.
Was there like a smelly part?
There was a spark. So, because like
corrosion.
that
It
middle,
was like
so that
cold
middle
and
part where you
hot.
go through and it does nothing now. You used to go through, and there was a hot part, a cold part, and the part you're thinking of was a corrosive part, and it had like a, obviously just some chemically smell.
Yeah.
But they said something to the effect of like, we turned those robots off, right? Like, just stuff like that made it feel lighthearted. And,
Yeah.
but the ride experience hasn't changed between the two, so.
Yeah, the actual, it's just,
Track
they just
is the same.
redesigned it.
Yeah.
but-
So
I felt like
kinda wish they
maybe it
had
was
the old
because
one.
I was a kid, but I feel like the part where you almost run into the truck, I felt like that was so much more shocking than
Yes.
on the other one. But I
Yes.
wasn't sure if that was because I was 7.
No, you're.
Or if it actually.
It was because in the modern version, or like in the new
It's got, like,
version, it's got
lights
an
on it.
outline on it before you get there. In the old one, that tunnel was pitch black,
Yeah.
and like you get almost to it, and the lights would flash right in your face. And
Oh,
you'd swerve
yeah.
out of the way.
It
So
freaked me out.
Yeah, it startled me when I was little when I went on it, but I was like, I don't know if that's
it's
because I
just
was
childhood
7.
memory. Or,
Yeah.
So.
I wasn't smart enough to realize
So,
that there was
but-
something there.
I think for me, I miss the old one, but I'm kind of partial because as a NASCAR fan, like I enjoy the thrill of the. I mean, it's obviously only 60 miles an hour and stuff.
I also like that it is a thrill ride
Mhm.
that families can ride together.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's really nice.
it's fun. All right, number 4, Miss
I didn't
Haley.
say my number 5.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's
Mine
right.
was-
Everest was your 6. What's
Yeah.
your number 5?
Mine was Tower of Terror.
Interesting. Did any of the rest of us have Tower of Terror? I didn't think so because
I
I know
was-
you don't like it,
I don't
and
do drop towers.
I will ride it, but drop towers are not my favorite.
I don't go on
Love
any
Tower
drop.
of Terror.
The theme
almost made it
is, if I had
higher.
to name my top 10 themes, that would be the top of my list as far as themes are concerned because they just do it so well.
At the
But
end,
the ride experience.
At the end, first of all, I love the ride experience, and second of all, at the end where you got like a warm welcome back to those of you who made. I can quote that whole thing.
Yeah.
I love that ride so much. I didn't go on it. I went on it this past trip, but the trip before, I didn't go on it, and I'm not sure I went on it during COVID either. I would have gone on it by myself. Mom would have gone with me, but. So it had been a long time. I think the last time I went on it was when we all went, when I was almost 18, which was almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it had been a long time since I went on it. So I was like, I don't know. I don't really remember it that well. But then when I went on it this past trip, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love this ride. So I'm sad that I only got to go on it once because the line was always like 2 hours long the entire time.
Crazy.
And we only got it because the time that we tried to go on Rock and Roller Coaster and it broke down and we had passes, I went and used those passes. They gave us, lightning lane passes,
Did
so
they
I
only
went
have
and used
one
it for...
shaft working?
That's what I've heard. I've heard there's only one shaft
I think
working. I
so.
think that's why the line was so bad while
Yeah.
we were there.
Because it was like that when we went in May, too, and that's why we didn't go on it then. So, but Tevin and I had an extra
So I don't
pass
know
and we
what's
didn't know what we were
Taking
using.
so long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I love that ride. I love the theme. I love the ride itself. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And I like quoting the last part along with the guy.
All right, number 4.
Soren.
I had
Soren.
Soren.
Hey, 3
That's
for
so
Soren at number 4.
good.
That's amazing.
Now,
That's funny.
Soren, do you prefer
Ooh,
California
good question.
or World?
See, I don't know the difference.
I prefer
What do you mean you don't know the
World.
difference?
I haven't been on Soren, California.
No, the original Soren,
Oh.
the originals, because that's the
Original.
same as Soren over California, from what I understand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Soaring Around the World, but California is not nostalgic to me because I've
Yeah,
been
I
there one
love
time.
the
I just feel like the music's better in California.
I can agree with that.
I miss the Orange Grove.
Mm-hmm.
I don't because I don't like oranges.
Oh, no wonder you like the new one. I miss the Orange
I
Grove
love the beaches, and And the elephants. I'll take the elephants over the oranges any day.
Honestly, if the music was the same,
that is
I
one
would.
Complaint that I have with Soaring Around the World. But I really
and
do
I
love
honestly
it.
think that the I don't know what the distortion is worse.
Yes.
I always
Eiffel
say,
Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Eiffel Tower
Yeah, you
is
can see it
terrible
on the
unless you're
Eiffel
sitting
Tower.
in the middle.
That's what I always do. Is
Yeah.
I sit in the top middle and it's fun there.
Oh,
too.
is it okay?
But I always sit in the top middle. I don't have feet hanging above me, and I don't have the distortion that's on the edges. So I always sit in the top middle. So we rode that twice while we were there this past time, and I just requested that seat both times. And
Eiffel Tower is really noticeable if you're sitting on the edges.
yeah,
You're just like, that's
Like-
not very immersive.
that's not what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really
Yeah.
do like Soaring Around the World.
I do love it. I just miss the original
Yep.
score.
Yeah.
I
can
feel
see
like a
that.
lot of what they've been doing is they like copy and pasted rides a lot, like in the early 2000s between the two parks. And now they're kind of like, oh, let's make them different, so that forces them to go to both parks.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
why
valid. Tower
Mission
of Terror.
Breakout happened in Disneyland and Soaring Over the World happened over
Well,
here.
and then they have like the Cars Land, and then they
Yes.
have Avengers Campus. And,
Yeah. But they both got Galaxy's Edge, so
I don't know.
So
I
do they
like
have
Disneyland
World
more.
at California
I think it's still
Adventure?
Soaring Over California over there.
I thought they only did that like they'll bring it back for a
They
while.
did bring. I feel
and
like they
then
did just
They'll
bring
go
it
back to
for-
World. And then
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, they just brought it back for something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. So I
Yeah.
thought that it was still the original over there.
I wish. It
So
would.
they do. It does look like they're because like it says they're bringing it back March 3rd through April 25th this year. So
So
as part of the Food and Wine Festival, that makes sense. Okay, so they kind of do it as like a
event.
celebration of the California
I say
vineyards and
girls
stuff.
trip. We don't
So
have it as number
There you go.
4.
interesting.
What if Nathan had it higher?
I don't have it on my list.
See, he's booted.
You're out.
We'll take Parker with us so you can see cars.
Is
He's
he
not a
tall enough
girl.
for it?
I don't know.
All right, number 4, I have Rise of the Resistance.
Still too low.
I know. I think we've said what's to be said about that one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just so immersive.
It's
Like
incredible.
the first time I went on, it was just jaw dropped. Like,
How
did they do that?
incredible.
that's what I like about that one is it's an experience. Like
It's not just a
the
ride.
it's from beginning to end. Like it's
What's your favorite part of the ride? Or
For the-
favorite part
for
of
the-
the experience?
For the experience, I really love. Do we need to worry about spoilers?
if
So
you're
no-
worried about spoilers,
Skip a
Skip.
little bit.
to the
next
end of
5
the
minutes.
episode. I don't know.
Okay,
You can just
spoiler
say a
warning.
keyword and we'll know what you're talking
Spoiler
about.
warning. When you go into the AT-AT hangar,
Hmm.
and you got look
That part,
up,
you're just
and they're
like,
right
whoa.
there, and they're firing at you, and it's
Full size,
So
like you're just like,
cool.
what?
I love that part.
Yeah.
I like the lightsaber.
Nowadays, that's probably the part that I enjoy, and the drop. But the first time getting off the transport ship and just being like,
How did they?
excuse me?
I still shocks the heck out of me. And I'm
It's
like,
Well,
how did they do
So
that?
what's weird, I when we went on it, because every time I go on it, I kind of look at it, I'm like, okay, how do they pull that off? And I thought I had it figured out this past time, and I was like, oh, okay. And then we got on, and I forgot you go in and out the same door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't have that figured out.
It's
I still.
crazy. I even love that transport ship, which isn't even part of the ride, technically. It's still part of the queue. You're not even at the ride yet. And it's still so immersive and it's cool. And then
Everything
Poe
is. Like, even...
saying, we'll come back for you. It's like, okay.
Well, even, like, when you're in the prison cell, and they, like, open up the thing and push the wall open.
Yeah.
Like that's them boarding you onto the thing, and they have to check your seatbelts and everything. But even that, they're like, "Come on, let's go, go, go!" Like they're making it like we're escaping, gotta hurry.
It's okay, we gotta go.
So,
and
like I love that the cast members are all actors and not
incredible.
just ride operators.
It's
like,
really fun when you get
someone that's
a
like
first
really
order,
into it, yeah.
a first order actor that's like into it.
One of the interrogators that's like, yeah.
We had one teasing our little 4-year-old cousin. How old is cousin? Is he 4?
Yeah.
And teasing him because he wasn't saying anything. He was like, "You'd make a good first order spy," because he was too shy to say anything to him. And it was really funny.
I just think the Kylo Ren animatronic and the whole thing was
just...
just...
I know Tevin
I
really
know
likes
all kinds
the...
of-
Or you're probably going to talk
Tevin
about
really
how
liked
to
him running towards you
Yeah.
at that one part.
Tevin was like, whoa.
He gets sucked out.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
I
good.
love
The lightsaber through the ceiling. Like
it's
that.
just...
There's
all of
only
it is
one
incredible.
thing I noticed this past time when we went on that was malfunctioning. If I remember
Oh,
properly,
the turrets.
yes,
Yes.
that's exactly what it was. The turrets weren't moving.
They
So-
typically,
Oh, yeah.
they
They
move
like
forward
when
and
they
then
shoot, they would go, and like
back and forth.
and like it was so cool because that thing is so big and it was just moving
and
back
you
and
have
forth.
to, you
but-
like stop and it shoots and you have to.
and yeah, you would have to
skip
go in
past
between,
it.
time it right to like get in between them.
And so this time
they
you're
weren't-
just like timing it right, but there's just
no
they're not
movement.
moving.
I was like,
so
that's a
that
little
was
weird.
that was
So
sad.
I did
but
notice that. But other than that, everything else seemed to
Yeah.
be working properly. So
Such a
Cool
good
ride.
very good,
Cool ride.
very well done. There's a reason it's still considered the best dark ride in the country. So
Yeah, we're all starting
All
to
right.
go on.
down to our top 3. What you got?
Rise of
There
Resistance.
you go.
Slinky Dog Dash.
So good. It didn't make my top 10, but it was close.
So much fun. It's just
It's
a
just
fun
makes
ride.
you laugh.
Yeah.
Like, so happy.
Like
So-
there's roller coasters that I got on my list that aren't thrilling as some of the other ones behind it, but it's just fun.
Fun.
So
I love that
I've got a
one.
few that are
Yeah.
like that. So
All right.
my number 3 is Rock and Roller Coaster. So
Okay.
which I don't think any of you have on your top
Don't.
10s.
It would have made my top 10 a few years ago, but it's too bumpy now.
For me, I think it's the music that still makes it for me because I've been on other rides this summer that are very similar and are smoother and more thrilling.
Yeah.
Flight of Fear at King's Dominion. It's basically the same thing, but it's alien themed. But the indoor portion is basically just lights, and there's no music or anything once you launch off. So to me, that's what makes the difference for a Rock and Roller Coaster is that I do love Aerosmith's music, so I actually enjoy it. And this time when I rode it, so because we figured out each train has a different song that it plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gotten the same song like 5 times in a row over the last several trips. And it's my least favorite song that's
Which
on the
song?
ride. I don't even remember what it's called. That's what, I don't even know the song that well. That's why I don't like it. But so I went on it one more time, I think with you, right? Was that the last ride that you and I went on? And finally got a different song. I was like, oh, they do exist. Like, so that one played the Love in a Roller Coaster cover that they did for the ride. So
Yeah, if it weren't for the launch, it wouldn't be anywhere near my top 10 probably. But I love launches, so that makes it
good stuff.
makes it more worth it. But
If
Didn't
it
quite make
didn't
it.
have the launch, it would probably be on the top.
I
It is
love
really
launch
fun.
coasters.
I really like it, but the launch is
Good stuff.
Love
pretty
launch
intense.
coasters.
Who's your number 3?
Smuggler's Run.
Okay.
I love Smuggler's Run. I'm the Star Wars nerd though, so it's I just-
time with that.
I get to go fly the Millennium Falcon. What is cooler than that besides my top 2?
See, so Smuggler's Run, I have a mixed opinion of it because, first of all, getting to actually be in the Millennium Falcon is really cool.
So
like that, the way they designed
It
it
looks
so that you
just
feel like
like
you're
it.
there is awesome. The only thing I don't like about the ride is if you're not sitting in the front,
It's kind of
it's
lame.
meh.
Yeah.
So all you're doing, because like the guns,
I've never not sat in the front before, so.
I really wish the guns you actually had something that you're,
Everyone,
or even if it was like a joystick so you could aim, because all it is
push the button.
Well, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't understand the concept. But the scoring, like,
I don't know how it works
how
either,
can
but
you
I
even
don't
tell
care.
if you did well? Like,
it is kind of confusing.
you know, I'm like,
I thought because
did
me
you
and
do it?
Tevin got to ride it twice, so we rode it with you guys, and we had an average score, and we got I think 1 box or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Then the second time Tevin and I rode it with some strangers, we got 2 boxes and we had a lower score. So I was like, what? I don't understand how this game works.
I just love it, but I've also never not sat in the front because first of all, it's a newer ride, and so I've only like the first time I rode it, I sat in the front. And second of all, everybody knows that I like Star Wars more than them, so they're willing to let me have the most immersive experience.
If you're doing the guns, it's literally just one button that you just push like this.
And then
I
the
think
engineers
it's
And if the
really
engineer, it's you're
fun
just pushing
concept.
buttons as you need it. So
I think it's a really fun concept.
Yes.
I just
But
think
honestly,
all the riders need to be as immersed as the 2 drivers
honestly, I feel like I would still enjoy it.
Drivers.
Same difference. I feel like I would still enjoy it sitting in the other seats too, just because I'm in the Millennium Falcon. And I love Hondo Ohnaka too, which makes a difference.
The animatronic in the
Yes.
queue,
It's so good.
Very good.
very
It's
good.
an incredible animatronic.
Mhm.
So I love Smuggler's Run. One of my
All right,
favorites.
2 more. What you got in number 2?
Cosmic.
Cosmic Rewind.
That's my number 2 as well.
Interesting.
It was close to number 1. I
Yeah,
could almost consider them a tie.
Yep.
interesting.
That's obviously your number 2, right, Mom?
Cosmic?
The one you didn't even ride.
Yes. That was my favorite.
That's your
Totally.
number 2.
This is your number 2.
What's your 2?
Thunder Mountain.
so
It's
good.
not number
Yeah.
1.
That's interesting.
No, that's not number 1.
Anything else to say? I think we'll talk about Cosmic Rewind in a second.
I
so.
assumed we would,
Okay.
because if it's not
My
your
number 2
then
My number 2 is Space Mountain.
it's still that high.
I love Space Mountain so much.
It's so fun.
I have it ranked above stuff like Wildfire at Silver Dollar City and some of the stuff
I'd
at
probably
Cedar
rank it
Point.
above Wildfire
It's
now.
just, like I mentioned earlier, to me Space Mountain is just a roller coaster that's just fun. Like, it's not super intense or super fast or, there's
Feels
some
fast,
airtime.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But, like, I feel like if Space Mountain was outside
I've gotten
in the
better
daylight,
about that.
I feel like Space Mountain was outside in the daylight with
It'd
no
be so
theming.
boring.
It would be way further down on my list. But with the music and in the dark, with the stars flying past, that just makes
I
it that
used
much
to
more fun.
struggle
And the
with
nostalgia
being
is a
jerky,
big
but-
part of that for me too.
I've gotten better about being able to handle how jerky it is.
Yeah. I just kind of let myself go limp.
Maybe that's your problem.
Well, that's the only way I can ride it.
So
If I'm like this, 2 tenths, then it's
love
too
it.
much
It's
for
a
me.
fun
it
ride.
is so much fun.
Alright,
All right.
what's your 2? What was it?
Space Mountain was number 2.
Space
Yeah.
What's your number 1, Haley?
Flight of
Flight of
Passage.
Flight of Passage, yeah.
Shocker.
Says the woman with her avatar blanket right now.
Yes.
What's yours, Mom?
Flight of Passage.
Flight of
That's
Yeah.
what I was wondering.
Yeah.
That's my girls.
Anyone have any idea what mine is? Yeah.
All right, what's Nathan's?
Anyone guess what it is?
Carousel of Progress. No, Cosmic Rewind is my new favorite at
Okay,
Disney World.
so I gotta give my reason as to why Rise of the Resistance and Cosmic Rewind are basically tied.
Okay.
Because Cosmic Rewind is a much more thrilling ride, whereas Rise is a much better experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the theming for Rise is more my thing. Marvel's your thing, Star Wars is my thing.
Yep.
So I love the theming for Rise of the Resistance. The ride, like you said with Space Mountain, if you took away the theme of Rise, it would be boring.
You're just driving around, just like it's just like driving a car simulator. Like,
it would be so boring.
Stuck in traffic simulator.
So if you took away the themes for those two rides, Cosmic Rewind would win. But put the themes back in, and Rise has a much more immersive theme and is more my favorite. But Cosmic Rewind is an incredible ride.
Yeah.
It was so good.
fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Agreed. So just to talk about Cosmic Rewind, since it was high on our lists.
Yep.
Like, it blew away my expectations. Like, I knew going in that people were giving it super high praise, and even with that, I still was completely blown away. And it became one of those coasters for me that, again, it was not super intense, like more intense than a Space Mountain, but it was just so much fun.
It was so fun.
And like with the music playing, and obviously Marvel is, I love Marvel too, so that adds another aspect to why I enjoyed it. And it's totally different from any other roller coaster.
That's what I was going to bring up next, is it is so incredibly unique.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I haven't been on anything like that before. So it blew me away to the point it's actually number 7 on my roller coaster list out of everything I've been on. So it'd make my top 10.
I don't have that many roller coasters, but it might be my number 1 roller coaster. Yeah. That or Time Traveler would be close.
It fell in between Storm Runner at Hershey Park at number 6 and Banshee at Kings Island at number 8. That's where I ended up putting it.
It's hard to choose. I don't have a top
No,
list.
you don't have.
It's too hard.
I've ranked all 104 roller coasters I've been on.
Well, you made this list kicking and screaming.
I like making lists.
Nathan had to sit me down and be like, "You make this list." I'm like,
well, it's a little more aggressive than I did. I just went ride by ride and was like, okay, where does this one go?
I was like laying in his lap. I'm like, I don't want to.
She says, I don't know. They're all so good.
Tom Sawyer's at the bottom.
Cosmic Rewind also, like, I won't spoil it for people that haven't been on it, but it did some things like Rise of the Resistance that literally, like in the pre-show, that just
blew my mind.
Literally,
heck yeah,
jaw dropped. I was
that
like,
was incredible.
I do.
What?
My one complaint about the pre-show: it is not good for people with sensory issues, or if you were epileptic or anything like that. Flashing lights, don't go on it.
Yeah,
I think
it was
they have
boy.
an
It was
option to skip the pre-show.
Probably because otherwise anyone who
I've
had
actually
flashing
heard.
lights
Well, I've actually heard
Yeah.
people complaining that they don't.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They need to have an option.
I've seen some
because
people that have service animals that have been complaining that they don't, because the only option for them is to carry.
The dogs. They're mad.
Oh.
My brain hurt.
That's really funny.
Time to end the episode.
Yeah.
So, but the only option they have is to carry their service animals, which if you have a big dog...
Yeah, if you have a golden retriever, there's no way I'm carrying that dog.
I've seen some complaints about that.
That's something that, like, because I'm autistic, so I was able to just close my eyes and I was fine, but it's not like a real risk for me, but someone who it's an actual risk for wouldn't even want to risk that.
Yeah.
You know, it could be really dangerous for that,
Yeah.
for someone like that. So that is one complaint that I had, and it lasts a long time. It's not just like a couple seconds of flashing lights. It goes on for several seconds.
Well, I think the first time we went on, I think there was either somebody was like not in the right spot, and so they had to keep doing it until... Because the second time it was a lot faster.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have to be very familiar with the movies to enjoy it?
No. Just know the characters.
If you've
like
seen, because you've seen the movies.
You've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
So you know the characters, you know that Drax is the dorky one, and
I don't know the whole story behind
Star-Lord is the leader,
happens,
Rocket's the mischievous one, Groot is Groot, like,
Gamora's the
you
one
know
with
enough
the brain
that you'll
cells.
appreciate it, so.
Gamora's the one who has all the brain cells.
So, if you are a Marvel fan, you'll catch little Easter eggs that you appreciate, but it's not going to, like, make or break the ride for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say, and I think I've mentioned this to you before, that's the most comfortable roller coaster I've ever been on.
Yes.
The seats were so comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's almost like when they built Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, they learned how to make one of the most uncomfortable and do the complete opposite on the next roller coaster
It was
they made.
very, very comfortable
Because
ride.
it's very, very comfortable.
For sure.
And the seats are, like, plenty wide. Like, you don't feel like you're right up against the person you're sitting next to. Like, you've got lots of room. It's very comfortable.
The whole car feels very roomy.
Yes.
Not even like you've got leg room, you've got elbow room.
Yep. The seats are nice and, I mean, they're not perfectly flat, but it's not like Seven Dwarfs where it's like sitting in a cup.
They chose one particular
guy.
person and said, okay, everybody's got to look like this.
Your butt needs to fit this mold or you will be uncomfortable.
That's exactly what
It really is.
It's literally like that.
Apparently Haley's butt fits the mold. Congratulations.
Shaking it over here like
Well, they were carved to fit the dwarfs, so I'm not sure how to...
fun size. You're forgetting.
Snow White and the 7 fun-sized boys.
Yeah, Snow White had a small booty, let's be honest.
Oh.
Goodness. Alright, enough booty talk. Close it up.
All right. Well, that is our top 10. I don't know if any of you have anything else to add to our
I
discussion.
love Disney World.
Yeah. It is, I've described it before as every enthusiast has a home away from home park. It's like the park you go to a lot that it's not necessarily like super close to you, but you love it and it's one of your favorites, and that's what I think Disney World is for me. So
I have a question.
Yes.
Jenny, when are we going back?
I don't know. When are you going back?
We are not. You maybe.
So let me check the bank account. Not anytime soon. So we gotta check out the other stuff in Florida. We gotta go to Universal. We gotta
It's
I'll
go
go
to
to
Parks,
Universal
go to
with you.
SeaWorld.
I'll go to
really hard to-
Universal and see where
Yeah,
I
to trade that Disney time. To
It's
try
so
out the
there's
other
so
things.
many
Mhm.
roller coasters in
I've told
Florida.
him, drop me at Disney World and
Yeah.
you go do your stuff.
And Universal's building a new park right now with more roller coasters.
Yeah.
So
You take Parker the Mario World and I will go and do Disney.
SeaWorld's building a new roller coaster like every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll go to
they're kinda
Universal
like-
with you.
I think they're building their 8th one right now.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, more than Silver
They
Dollar
have
City.
any
Well, they
Legoland?
don't. They,
It's a different one.
Back in the day, they had like 3.
SeaWorld?
And yeah,
Yeah.
and now,
Well, they had animals. That's what they were about.
now they're
And now
Now
they can't
they-
do that.
Now they're-
Yeah.
So,
that's really what it is they're
Mhm.
cutting back on the animals, so
Which is
they're
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah,
That's good.
putting
Yeah.
roller coasters in instead.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Airtime Traveler, and
It's an
thank
FD
you
one.
for yeah, it is an FD one. So, and thank you to our panel for joining us for this trip report.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. So,
Reminisce.
if what's that?
It was fun to reminisce.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it is fun. So,
Time to go back. Jenny.
so. Well, I said she's.
I mean, I'll go with you, but I'm not sure how.
If you get yourself there.
We have both
If you
have
get
little
yourself
boys,
there.
and no money, so, you know.
If you pay me enough, I'll watch your little boys.
That makes the trip more expensive.
But then I can go on a trip myself.
Use the babysitting money to go to your own Disney trip.
Exactly.
She's got the right idea.
Gotta work the system.
Be sure to go and check us out on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram, just at Airtime Traveler. We're having discussions and just talking about all things news in the roller coaster industry. And you'll also be up to date anytime we release trip reports like this one. And also you'll be able to stay up to date when season 2 of Airtime Traveler starts. And if you haven't listened to any of season 1, be sure to go check that out. There's 19 episodes all about the history of different roller coasters from different parks across the country. With that, I think that does it. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.